Hello, everybody. I just want to make a live discussion on gang stalking evidence, and this will be a open discussion. I do invite you guys to come join me. It's going to be a short uh, video, maybe 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes. So if you have some time, feel free to join in on this discussion. I do have a video premiering later on today, video number 38 in my True Truth for Gang Stalking series. And the community, the TI community, I believe majority of you will find this information to be something that you're not familiar with, and it's going to be completely new that the community, I believe, based on my research, the community have not mentioned this electric mist, and I will explain to you how, based on my discovery and my research, how it correlates. So the video will be premiering later on today, so please check that out if you have time. Hey, Tom Hanks, do you want to join in on this live stream? If yes, you can just click on the link. Here's a link. So can you click on that link? Okay, so today's topic on evidence. Like I know there are a number of TIs, content creator on YouTube that like to emphasize on the evidence by having evidence. And I have no problem with that. I get it, evidence. Who doesn't like evidence? Everybody likes evidence. So do I. And for the longest time, you follow me and you watch my videos, you know I talked about how the evidence that's out there are not evidence. And I get mixed reviews. I would say majority of my viewer would disagree, but let's just talk about it. Let's just analyze what are real evidence. So for me, hold on one second. Hello? Hello, Tom.
Can you hear me?
Hey, Tom, how you doing?
Thank you.
Thank you for joining. So, yeah, like I was saying about the evidence. Do you have any?
Thank you for inviting me.
What's that? What's that?
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Wait, can you speak louder?
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. Am I not audible?
Yeah, but the connection is kind of choppy.
Oh, okay.
So, do you have any videos up on YouTube?
No.
Okay.
I
And
just realized I was being gangster like 6 months ago.
I think your connection is kind of going in and out.
Oh.
How long have you been a targeted individual? Hello? Okay, well, can you hear me? Well, I'm going to have to get Tom back in.
Now?
Tom?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Am I audible now?
Yeah, you're live now.
Yeah.
So how long have you been a targeted individual?
Yeah, no, I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me? Okay, then something, yeah, maybe
uh,
something's wrong with the connection. Well, maybe you might need to restart your computer or reconnect. But so for the time being, I I want to talk about these evidence, and I know people they like to upload videos on red cars and people on the street or their neighbors out in the front. I mean, all that is good. I mean, all that is good. If you want evidence, go ahead and film evidence. I have nothing against evidence. Now, I was thinking, okay, so with these evidence, the next step would be, okay, let's just say you do get to use these evidence in court. You know, let's say to prove your case for whatever reason. You might not even have to, okay, but just for whatever reason. Uh, One fair um, question that the court will ask you, because you can't, it's not all evidence you submit will be accepted. So it has to be relevant to your claim and whatever the case is. So, okay, the red cars with gang stalking. So one fair question they would ask is, where is the actual harassment on video? Because majority of these videos are just filming the car. Okay, a target might see a red car, maybe seeing 5 red cars. But usually that's how the video ends. I mean, you might see the target start driving a little bit and the video ends. So yes, the target's capturing all the red cars in a video of running into red cars and seeing red cars. But within that video, it doesn't show clearly where the harassment is. And that's the key part is the showing with clear understanding. If you look up the word evidence, or it's just clear understanding of showing the harassment, because the claim, I would imagine TI would claim it on harassment in this gang stalking. So in the video, there must be harassment, like clear showing of harassment. And just the TI talking about it, it's one perspective, but then in videos, it doesn't show any, there's no verbal harassment. I mean, at least there needs to be verbal harassment. Okay, there's like some type of body gesture, that's could show like threat of some type, like slitting throat, that gesture of slitting your throat or someone's throat, like, or killing you, or the pulling a trigger type of like hand gesture, like, or just straight up just physical, uh, like attack. I mean, all those would be considered evidence for harassment, but just driving by 5 red car in a court system, that doesn't show harassment. And now I'm not saying that's not happening. It is happening. And all I'm saying is I believe the community need to have more than just 5 cars driving by 5 red cars, or more than just a video explaining, actually not even explaining, it's more like accusation at that point until you can prove that those red cars are the ones harassing you. So until you can prove the red cars are the drivers from the red cars or whatever the red cars are harassing you, then you're just making an accusation. An accusation like that, you're gonna need to back it up with proof, and that is where this step, I believe, a lot of TI's evidence video are lacking the actual solid, clear proof that people in the red car are harassing you. All it needs is just maybe someone with the window down in a red car talking shit, that would be pretty convincing. Or even someone get out of their red car and come towards you and start kind of talking smack. That's pretty convincing. Like, that just helps your argument. But it's hard to find videos like that, if there are any. And and it's hard to prove. I mean, it's really hard to prove. Okay, let's go to some of these questions. I don't think there is any type of viable evidence. I think this is spiritual. I think that everyone who's a TI is going through a spiritual awakening, and demons are trying to prevent them from. Yeah, I. That's how I feel too. And I noticed a lot of TIs in this program. They go through a similar sequence of, I would say, harassment. I guess if you want to call it harassment. But some will actually figure out how to deal with it and be able to, be able to have a life still or moving forward. While another part of the group of the TI community won't know how to handle it, and their life will gradually just spiral downwards. That doesn't mean they can't pick themselves back up. I mean, anyone can pick your own life back up if you want to. And yeah, it's strange how they're all connected, as in these similar experience. Sorry, man, my headset not working for some reason. Oh, it's cool, man, Tom. Just when you get it fixed next time. Hey, what's up, developer? How you doing? Okay. Yes, I agree. I don't care to prove anything to strangers. Okay, so if any of you want to join in on this, here's the link. It's going to be a short live stream, maybe 30 minutes. You're either a slave to God or a slave to demons. When you allow negative energy to go drive you, you're a slave to sin. Yeah, that's true. I mean, a lot of these are just fear. Lots of fear in this program, and a lot of lies. And what these lies are, I'm not talking about the content creator or lies. They're not telling lies. They are actually really believing what they're experiencing. And I know exactly how they feel because I was there. And the only way to change that mindset is if through divine intervention for whatever, extreme life circumstances or experience that's so dramatic that can change the TI's entire mindset moving forward. Or some type of new evidence is presented and the TI was able to make connection with whatever the TI knows in his or her head to allow the TI to change his mindset moving forward in life. So it's really negative, and I sense the community, it's dominated by negativity, and that's only due to the lack of realization of who these gang stalkers are, and just wanting to know who they are. Who are these gang stalkers? And during this time, one of the powers that these gang stalkers have is voice to skull and lower voice to skull. So the most powerful that I know is the lower voice to skull, like I mentioned before in my videos. It will convince the TI as the TI's going through his daily life. So whatever happened, let's say today, something that didn't go your way today, the lower voice to skull will come in and make reference to it and make you think and project your thoughts in a negative direction. Like, for instance, drive by someone walking on the street with a red backpack or something. And it will make the TI start thinking, oh, that's a red backpack. Who would walk out on the street in the middle of the night with a red backpack? I mean, that whole thought process right there, even though it's short, but it's still a negative path of thinking. I mean, to make things simple, all the TI need to do is see a guy or girl with a red backpack in the middle of the night walking. Just take a look, make sure they're okay, and keep driving. That's it. You don't have to think about anything else. You don't have to let your mind wander off afterwards, thinking, "Oh, that's gotta be a perp with that red backpack in the middle of the night," and then start saying all these things about that person when it's not even necessary, because that person it's way back there, and that person I don't understand is how is that person harassing the TI? It's the TI that's willingly put his own energy into thinking these negative things about that person that's walking. And the most important part to realize here is that's only for one day. Well, that one night driving by on the street and seeing that person. But if you've been gang stalked for 6 years, think about how many of those experience during that 6 years. Like that's a lot of negative, training your own mind to think negatively. It's like being put into these really strenuous training of your mind, thinking negative and projecting negative thoughts about people you see out in public. I mean, harassment is harassment. Harassment is solid. If harassment happened, you can't deny it. You're going to see harassment. Oh, you can't deny it. But accusation, on the other hand, the accuser will need to provide evidence. Hey, what's up, man?
Hello?
Hey, how are you doing?
I can see my.
Oh, I can see you fine. Thank you for joining. Like, do you have anything to say about evidence or your experience with gang stalking evidence?
Well, not particularly with the evidence thing because I never was one of those people who tried to record or catch things or anything like that, chase down. But so I guess I don't. But I've seen some of the things back whenever I started having experiences was back in 2007, and you know at that time for me it was a lot of the similar things everybody goes through, except for I would say that for me it stopped within like a year or two. It everything stopped and it didn't come back until 2015. And I would always try and think like, what is this about? And I never heard the term gang stalking or anything like that. And I didn't hear that term until about 2016. But everything started coming back in 2015. And when I would heard other people's idea of what's going on, I was like, it didn't make sense to me because it wasn't my experience. I always felt that it would happen to me because I was playing with one of those Ouija boards back in 2007, and that's when I started having experiences. So in 2015, I got in a relationship with some girl, and she lost the baby or whatever. We decided to have an abortion, and then it was around that time that all this stuff started coming back to me. So to me, my experience, I always felt, and I didn't grow up in a religious family, or we didn't speak about God or anything like that. But naturally, I just felt like it had something to do with that, you know. And so, you're the first person that I actually have heard speak with the same kind of experiences, thinking that it's not people, it's something else. But what is it, you know? But and I just want to say, man, thank you because you're the first person who really is kind of sees the way things that I saw them, and so it's cool to hear, pick your brain and see how you think because I feel like we're on the same kind of. We're
Now,
kind of getting the picture.
yeah, okay, I see, I understand what you're saying. So before they went away, so can you explain what were you experiencing to
Uh,
make you acknowledge or at least
oh
aware?
yeah, for me particularly, it was I was in a car with someone one time, and this was like a little bit after the experience, and the very first thing that caught my attention was we were driving on the highway, and there was a car pulled over on the highway, and the guy pointed to the car because it was just pulling over. It had just started to pull over on the highway, like something's wrong, and he pointed to it. Like I was like, oh man, that sucks, that dude's car's breaking down. And then as we were about to exit till we get to our location, there was another car that was on the side of the road, and it kind of caught my attention. And then later on that day, I was leaving the house to go get something fixed with my car, and there was another car that was parked at the end of the street. It was a dead end street, but it was just like parked there, started in the middle of the road. So I started, what started catching my eye was these parked cars on the side of the road. And knowing I've seen this my whole life, that it's raining out here, but knowing I've seen it my whole life, but something about it, it made me think that, yo, what is going on? How come I'm noticing it? Because I never noticed it before. And I started becoming, for some reason, my mind stayed fixated on it. And then it started becoming where I would notice, it was just really that particular. And then for me, what would happen to me when I was hanging out with my buddies and stuff, I would feel like I felt like something was on my face or something was like on my arms. And I would be like, do y'all feel that? And they're like, no, I don't feel nothing. So I would be like, dude, I feel like something's there. So I started scratching my face or like trying to dust something off, but nothing was there. And then eventually it came to where I noticed that people around me were doing that a lot, and I felt like, oh, whatever was messing with me, maybe it's messing with them. And now that when it came to you and I kind of heard the whole thing about the spiritual aspect of it, I always think now, like, maybe that thing was trying to get to me. And because I would never scratch myself or like scratch my eye or do anything like that, that it started messing with things around me. And since people were not aware of it, they would just, scratch or whatever, not really thinking deeper into it. Let me ask you something. Have you ever seen this movie called Fallen? It's with Denzel Washington and John
Yes, how
Goodman.
it can transfer body.
Yeah, like something like that. It was almost like it could not get into Denzel, so it was messing with things around him. That's kind of what I felt like. It's something like that. Maybe they're
Okay,
trying to get to us, but they can't get to us, so they
that's
try and drop by getting things around us.
yeah. Let me tell you something. That is a good thing you brought up the movie. So
Okay.
in the movie, Denzel is I would say Denzel is like a TI. See,
Right.
us
Correct.
TIs, we have the ability to pick up the voice to skull,
Right.
and by picking up the voice to skull, we have a stronger defense against these entities. Like we're
Okay.
more aware, kind of like how you said you were being aware by you're scratching yourself and you feel something on your face. Let me
Right.
tell you, there was something on your face, but you just couldn't see it. Like
Yeah, no doubt about it. I know it is because there would have been a time, particularly around this exact same time in 2007, back when everything started. It like I was at work one time and my neck, it was like something on my neck was feeling really heavy. And I remember this one guy, and I don't know why he showed it to me or anything like this, but so we're at work and we're working, and I'm like rubbing my shoulders, like I'm rubbing my like. He's like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Dude, I feel like my head feels
hey,
heavy. Maybe I slept wrong or something." And he
so
goes,
let me tell you
go ahead."
something. Right now, by looking at the video, I can see it's actually whatever you felt is actually next to you. And today I will have a video, video 38. I will explain, and you will, if you watch that video, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. So, back to
You know,
the Fallen
I've
movie.
had this one guy tell me before. He's like, "Man, you have demons around you. I can see them on you." And this dude was like a pastor, but I was like, "No way." This was like in 2010 or like 2011 type. But it was like, sometimes you hear things and it's like you just don't want to believe it. Kind of like what's going on? Is
It's
this
a
dude messing
topic.
with me?
It's a topic that's really hard to understand because for
Right.
me it took a couple of years to
Mhm.
fully let it sink into my mind because
Right.
our eyes don't see them, so it's hard for our mind to process that these things are there. And now that I know what I know based on experience, I can identify them, and I would teach you guys how to do that. But if you watch today's video, you're
Mhm.
gonna understand what I'm talking about. About they're just on our head, and you felt it on your arm, kind of like okay to stick with the gang stalking community with the proper term with let's just say direct energy weapon.
Okay.
Okay, I call that phantom touch
Yeah.
because I know there's these spirits following me, and I've seen the ghost on my property over 5 times, and I've experienced uh feeling sensation that something else is there. And I also have sleep paralysis, where you just kind of your mind's awake but your body can't move.
Okay. Yes.
One of my video I explained one time I was in sleep paralysis and I felt fingernails, real fingernails touching my cheeks, tilted
Mhm.
my head, and then I felt these lips, these dry lips press onto mine. And next thing it was they were sucking air out of my lungs. And
Whoa.
so, and then the whole time I wasn't scared. I knew, okay, in about 10 seconds, I'm going to regain control of my body. Because my eyes, I can't open my eyes, but I can feel it, what's going on. As
Right.
soon as I gained control, I opened my eyes, there was nothing there. But I know that sleep paralysis is something that's real in the physical because
Right. I never
our
really had
mind's
sleep
already awake. Our mind's already awake during sleep
Mhm.
paralysis. We just don't have control of the body. So that
Right.
means our mind's awake. We are aware of the surrounding. So when this was happening, the fingernails, I know that was actually in the physical world. So somewhere around here, there's some demon roaming around. But I was also told that it requires a lot of energy for them to do something like that,
Mhm.
and they will only do it once to try to scare the person. If it
See,
works, imagine what that person's life's going to be like moving forward if that person actually got scared by it.
See, what
But
happened to me is because I knew I was messing with this Ouija board stuff, like when I was 22 years old, and it was just out of it's just like your buddies bring it to you. It's not really for me, but I was messing with it regardless, and so I opened myself up to that, and but what I would have is I would wake up around the same time, and even today too. Sometimes it feels like somebody's been bending my fingers backward all night, and so I can't even close a fist in the morning when I wake up. And I get that this demon is still with me, this thing is still with me because, and I hate this getting this, but I was super young at the time. I mean, I hate to say it, but at this time we were playing with the Ouija board, and I thought I was talking to my friend. He passed away at that time. We were about 21 at the time, and he had just died. And so when they brought this to me, he was my best friend. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna talk to him, and so I'm asking him questions, and this thing's answering me, but there's a way that I don't believe it. Like I always felt like this thing's reading my mind. Like it don't really know these answers. But I'm trying to get it to prove itself. And so what I would do would I would allow it to move my body. I would be like, for example, I would be like, hey, if this is real or not, then raise my hand. And then I would feel my hand go straight up in the air automatically, like without me doing it. And then music would come on in the background, and I'm communicating with this thing because I'm young and dumb, and I'm like saying like, yo, okay, if you can dance to country music, because I can't dance to country music, I'll know you're real. And it would start moving my whole body from head to toe, and it was dancing like a way that I would never even think to dance. So I go in the backyard, and when I go into the backyard, I tell this thing like, all right. So I turn up the music so it's louder, and I got more room to move around. All of a sudden, I mean, it's in the background, and it's using my body as an instrument. It's pretty much dancing, and then all of a sudden it stops dancing and it runs to the door, the garage, like the fence door, and opens up the door. And I like somehow I'm like I'm thinking like, what the fuck is going on? And I try and jump stop hard on the ground, and when I do, it's like I can stop myself from running. And from then on, I knew that this thing was wicked because like why was it running away? Like it could possess me, and I allowed it. And I always, because I didn't grow up with no God, and like I'm too embarrassed to tell anybody in my family about that stuff. But I always knew that, man, whatever's messing with me, I think it has to do with this. And that's why it was such strong conviction. Where I would hear other people, they weren't really like, I never hear nobody else say that they're messing with witchcraft or this. They always say, they're messing with drugs, or maybe they don't know why. They were just like they had a bad relationship.
well,
And
here's
for
the
me,
thing.
it's like, go ahead.
With you running towards the door, I had similar experience where my legs were constantly shaking and I can't control it from shaking, and that lasted for about 40 seconds. And during this time, I was just talking trash to these entities, screaming out at the top of my lungs, talking trash to it.
Okay.
And I guess it pissed it off, and it tried to move my leg, and my leg was shaking, like kind of like doing the MC Hammer, like that one move with the MC Hammer, kind of like
Right. Yeah,
bending
that
your
hammer
knees,
time where they go
Yeah,
left to
yeah.
right.
Yeah, so kind of like doing that with my knees. I was just standing still for like about 40 seconds and it just went away. So what happened to you? It used a lot of its energy. I
Right.
believe there's no way they have unlimited energy, because if they have unlimited energy, there's so much more better things for them to do than to stick around here
Right.
messing
And
with
see,
you.
at this
So
time, I was looking at forums like, how do I get this demon off me? How do you? And I could understand that. I felt like this thing is reading what I'm doing and it knows what I know. But there was this time, it was always around the same time. I was sitting in the back of this couch in my room, and I told this thing like, because a lot of people were saying like, or with the things that I was reading at the time, they're saying to get the demon off of you, you need to throw up. You need to throw it up because it's like attached to you or stuff. And so I
it's in your
forgot how.
lungs.
Yeah,
It's
maybe.
also part of your lungs, inside your air you breathe in.
See, I didn't really understand that because I was like, at the time I'm reading it and I know things are going on with me. I'm still trying to tell myself like this stuff's not real. You know what I mean? It's in my head, and so I'm sitting on the couch, and I know this thing's there because I'm saying, Spirit, are you with me? If you're here, then raise my hand. And so my hand would start to raise up, and so I knew it was there, and I can feel it because my neck was getting heavy and stuff, and so I said, if you're real, then reveal yourself, show me yourself. And it was like this big, like the best way I can explain it is if you're driving down the highway and you can see the sun off the road, that fuzziness, that fuzzy light, it was like a
Yes.
ball like that. It just formed in front of me, like right on the couch, and it fucking freaked me out. And I remember running down the hallway like, what the fuck is that? But I also know like it's deeper than what people think, and I don't know how it's getting on to everybody and what they're doing if they're not playing with witchcraft. Sometimes I think maybe some drugs are just so hard that is, or the demon knows you're going through a bad time, and so it knows that your mind can be manipulated now, and so it's looking for those people, and so, something
Right.
like
Well,
that.
I don't believe it's the Ouija board. I think that's just a reason they use. That's another reason to tell you. I believe they are actually everywhere. These spirits are everywhere, and some of them are good, some of them are bad. And yeah, the TIs with going through gang stalking, I would have to say there's some bad spirit clinging on to us. And
So how much? Hold on a second. I'm listening,
sorry,
I've been listening to you guys talk. But
Okay.
how many? I mean, can you guys tell me if you've ever researched paranormal activity?
No, I've seen some shows on it. I've looked at some forums, like when I was going through things I was going through, I was looking at forums on like how to get things off of you, and I got into like not really paranormal. I guess it's not. It's more like symbolism and stuff like that, because like when I'd watch some demon movies and stuff, like they're always reading like these ancient books, and like the movie Falling, I would try to that kind of stuff. I don't know if that's real knowledge or fake, but that's the kind of experiences that draw my attention, because I feel like they're going through something similar than me. Like the stories are based on facts, and so I try and figure it out sometimes through movies, even though that may not be the. I understand it's all fake, but there could be some truth that lies there.
what
And
about
that's
you,
about the
Father?
deepest.
Father Jimmy?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hi. Are you a
Can you hear
real
me?
father, like at the church?
No, I use the name Father Jimmy. James is just a play on words. It's basically the father off of Good Times, like in the
Okay.
black family home. Like he's like a
Okay.
father in the urban urban south side of Chicago. And
Okay.
that basically I just used it. It's basically an old profile from like 2017. But that's I mean I be on many platforms, conscious community, uh, you guys, the so-called gang stalking. I guys call it empowered individuals. But overall, yeah, the father. I am a father of two, and I just always hold a sentiment towards the father, like Bill Cosby, and because a lot of single parent homes amongst so-called African Americans. So that's the backstory of the name Father Jimmy James. It used to be just Jimmy James. I just put the father on it about last like 2 years ago. It was just Jimmy.
Okay. So do you have any gang stalking experience?
Yeah,
Evidence wise, evidence.
I have videos on my Android, but I don't post online. I used to be part of a Hebrew Israelite community, and I used to upload videos from like 2013 to 2017. And due to that experience, I stopped posting like my image up online so much. But overall, like I don't find myself really recording all the tactics like that. But I have a few like vandalism of my vehicle. Like I could turn on the camera now and show you what they did to my car and everything like that. I don't like to bring people down with this morale level. I always try to give positive input and insight that I understand of this program. But so far, like yes, if you're looking for it, it'll find you. But overall, they'll find you too. But it's how you perceive it and basically react to it. Overall, like I've been poisoned. Like I mean, I don't really my testimony is no more like victimized anymore. It's more so like I look at it in the view of like energy thing. It's like an energy harvesting game. Because I subscribe myself, and just from my experience, I know that we're like in a matrix. Like it's like a game of like of attention. Like your attention is priceless. That's why they say pay attention. like what you pay attention to. They capitalize off of that, and they you know, I mean, they could get you spiraling into like a frenzy where you're just, I mean, you don't know, you're confused. I went through all those stages, but throughout my whole life, I've been targeted in family, and I understand. I really agree with your lower voice to skull and the higher voice to skull. I heard both of them. I mean, when I wasn't even privy to your page, I had the high audio, but they stopped it because they not even they stopped. I stopped it because I didn't subscribe to it. It's like a certain mentality that you got to have. There's certain tactics they won't even use, or I wouldn't say they. It's really like a reflection of me. I know that it really comes down to like me because I understand that this game is like an energy thing, and you can manifest and attract things to you, even positive, negative. But you got to like line up to the frequency of things. Like I've seen myself acquire things, and I've seen myself lose things or acquire like even. But the most things that I ever acquired was always spiritual, like inwardly, like this, like priceless. But like the things outwardly, like things that you lose, even people and children, parents, and everything like that. Understand that there are characters in your game, and it's like a soul game too. Like everybody's not like really a soul. Like even the what you call them, the ghosts, because I like that concept that you have too. Like I can imagine millions of spirits around us at all times, like all throughout this. You know, I mean, people that died and didn't, you know, I mean, didn't cross over. Like, because it's really all a game. It's like a conscious frequency plane, and there's like 11 planes of consciousness on this level of 3D dimensional plane. And I reached all the way up to the like it's like I beat the game, but like the setup for me is like I heard a young lady on there too. I don't know her name, but I heard her voice before, and I heard her on your video. And I mean, I'm always listening out and privy to the community, or you call it the community, whatever. I don't know her name at the moment, but I like some of the things. I like most of the stuff that she says too. Is like very because it like resonates with you, so you can see like you can add it to, but it's how you perceive it, because it can be like it could like they say salt can like preserve things, and salt also can burn, or like you could just use any minute like type of concept like think something that can actually help you or save you. It also can drown you out too. Get too much information or something, because now you're looking at this. But like my experience in this reality is I can digest a lot of different information and filter it enough where it fits into my mentality, plane of consciousness that I'm at. Ultimately, what I was going to say about the frequency plane is basically based on your choices and then how you respond to it. So it's like and choices open up doors to doors and doors. Like we really are in a situation where you could go into certain environments wherever the frequency plane is low. You could like we have a meter and a filter where you can actually like your intuition will even respond. Like it's like a soul core. I call it the soul. Like it'll tell you like it actually gives you a chance to make the right choice.
Yes.
Like and
yes, like offer the it's a lot of it has to do with which direction you want to go, the positive or the negative. It's more than I know life has always been like this, you know, positive or negative, but then now going through gang stalking is actually more intense than ever. Because
so where we are in timelines, because there's timelines going on. That's why I've seen different timelines of myself, but I don't want to go, like I said, certain things that you can put out there and it can actually, but that's just me, my mentality. It's certain soul players like me too that they're mean and they'll tell you, you know what I mean? Like I could tell who's a soul just by looking at it. Like I actually have to play and dumb down my conscious plane, and I'm not saying I'm better or anybody or above, because how the game works is once you wake up to your source self, you realize on a higher plane that we're all one source, or you call it God. The God frequency is like a tantra. They call it the tantra, or what they call it. The other word they use a tapestry. Like we're all like a web together. That's why you don't run into certain people, and TIs don't run into each other, because they're not on the same plane. Or even though a frequency player like me, like I can see if I ran into people that were targeted in my life when I was on a higher frequency plane, and I couldn't even see their targeting until I descended into their level. Like it called Jacob's ladder. You can look at it that way too. I mean, I could take allegory. I could, like, the Earth is the third planet.
Hold on, I wanna stop you before you go too far, but I like that example of Jacob's ladder. I don't even have that movie. I need to rewatch it. That's a good one.
Yes, that's a good one. Like the
I'll
Earth is
look
the
it up too. I
third.
never heard of it.
All right, the Earth is the third planet. You have Venus. I mean, you have Mercury. Then you have Venus. Then you have the Earth. Then you have Mars. Then you have Jupiter. Then you have Saturn. You could connotate them to any names, the Greek god Romans, but these are celestial bodies. Really, they're all in us because it goes back to your natal chart. So the Earth is the third plane. So that's 3. Then you have the Gemini, which is the third zodiac, because you have the Aries, then you have the Taurus, then you have the Gemini. That's the 3. That's why, and the Gemini is the twins, so it's the duality. That's when the twin towers were knocked down. But I can see it better than I can. I'm just learning how to enunciate and expound on things, elaborate. I always seen these type of concepts as a early age is 3 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he was
Go
talking.
ahead.
Sorry, but I don't know your name. That Lexus? Is that what that? Sorry.
My name is Jimmy James. I mean,
No,
that's
you're
not my real
Jimmy
name.
James, but somebody else was talking about symbolism.
Yes.
Like he never researched paranormal activity, but he researched the symbolism. Are you talking about the symbolism of the Twin Towers and the symbolism
No,
of
when I
Gemini?
say symbolism, I got into, something started catching my attention, and maybe it was with the gang stuff. I wouldn't really I wouldn't combine them, because I just started getting interested in noticing like signs and symbols on either through TV networks and buildings, architecture, no matter if I'm in New Orleans or Galveston or whatever, similar things. And so I started researching, where do they derive from? What's the original thing? Like, what's the story behind it? And I noticed that a lot of things go back to like Greek and Rome, at least in America, when I'm looking at these symbols. And then when I started reading about Greek and Rome, it goes back to Babylon. And I know Babylon is where they get their stuff from, and that's what's in the Bible. But I never read about the Bible. But I always thought, because I never was around that stuff, that the Bible was fake. It's all mythology. It's all just a myth. Because maybe that's what people around me told me. But then as I'm learning about signs and symbols,
Sorry about
when I
that.
start learning about signs and symbols and everything goes back to Babylon, I'm thinking, well, hell, if things in the real world are going back to this place, Babylon, then how come that's not real? How come people think it's fake, And so I just try to figure things out on my own, but that is what attracted my attention, was the symbols. And maybe it was a little bit before the whole pedophilia stuff happened and I just learned that, okay, people are like the Masons, they all speak to each other with symbols, symbology.
I'm going to give you the backstory to the Masonry. I'm about to tell you what the 33 is. The 33 represents the Earth's plane, because the Earth is the third rock from the sun, and then you have the Gemini duality. And it's also headquarters to Saturn, which is 6. So Saturn is basically the energy that is being drawn from the third plane, because that's what you have the Tesla with the 369, really is 1369. The 9 planets, then there's the 12 zodiacs, which is the 3. But we're in the third 3D plane, rising up Jacob's ladder to the 11th plane, because there actually are 2 other planets, but I won't disclose at this moment. Overall, you can research them on the other two. That's the 9.
Father Jimmy, you have a lot of information. I could tell you've been doing like alchemy research and all kinds of stuff. Like you have an array of different stuff going on, and it all makes sense to me. I understand it.
Jesus is he is us. Jesus, he is us. It's the consciousness. That's why the attacks can be heavy on you, because you're going to take on the playwright of the Christ character, because we're characters playing a role in the Matrix, and then you got to build your energy up.
I couldn't agree with you more. I'm not subscribed to you. Do you have you have a channel? I mean, are you posting
videos? I just do what I do according to my potential and my ability. Like it's not about limelight or nothing like that. Really, everything is the moment, and there's timelines. But time, like I heard you say, I binged on the Hunan Sevens videos. I binged on everybody. I watched the beef, this and that. But I can see who's who and who's not. And sometimes you have to dumb down yourself to let another soul player, because I could tell which players are souls by their left eye. That's why you had the singer from TLC, the left eye. They always use his left eye.
Man, this left eye thing is so real. It's getting real. Biden yesterday or the day before, it was obvious. It was right in everyone's face.
That's why Christ said, let your eye be single, because he's letting you see that once you can see a person's eye, You can see the left eye. I know it sounds all what you call it, what's the other word?
Superstition. It's superstition. It
Oh,
is.
pseudo. They
It's
call it pseudo.
taboo.
They call
Yeah,
it
it's
pseudo.
taboo.
Yeah, they call it pseudo, but that's okay if it's
Yeah.
pseudo because you have to be in your core self to know that it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It's what your perception is at the end of the day. But as long as your perception is not hurting anyone else's perception. So that's why the Christ consciousness also say, "Give he that have ears, let them hear." Like it's like things like that, or do not cast pearls among swine. But we're in a time where the swine wouldn't even be able to even attempt to even be near the pearl. Like it's not gonna. That's why a lot of so-called TIs are so harsh on the Bible, any different ideas. They want to deal with just the FBI, the government, this and that. And I can meet them where that's at either, where they're at that level too. But on the Honan level of consciousness is higher than that because he's going with the invisible thing. But they can't eat those pearls, so they just call him an agent or this and that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
the game goes?
damn, you're so hold on. Damn, you're 100. I can't even you're just on it. You're like, have you been hold on. Have you been researching a lot? Be honest.
Yes, a lot of it is intuitive, but the planes that hit the two towers is representing the Gemini duality because you have to merge them for the neutrality. This is how you really beat the game, is the neutral. But you can raise up your frequency through the positivity. But when you use the negativity, it's going to gain you back into the lower planes. Because if you're not above the fourth plane, which is the fifth plane, which is the heart, the fifth, the Leo heart, the Lion of Judah. Remember when the Christ?
Okay, hold on a second. When you talk about this stuff, are you talking about like our intentions are good or bad, or what we fear? Or...
Your intent is about your consent, your attention, and your intent. That's the major big three. That's the big three. The Father, Son, the Holy Ghost. Earth, sun and moon, man, woman, and child, electron, neutron, proton. All these three, they put all the symbols around, which is the 1, 3, 6, 9. It goes all the way up to 9 and it resets the binary code back to 1 again. On and all. 0, 1. Neutral is 0. All right. Then 1 is positive. And then when you have the negative, which is nothing. So you be fighting against yourself, and you're thinking the gang stalkers are. It was really like it's like you.
It's a mirror. Yeah, I'm noticing it's a mirror. It took me a while. We all didn't just know this one day. We actually had to experience things to gain this knowledge.
Timelines, exactly. You're just playing it out. You'll play out, and you'll go into another timeline, which is time is an illusion, and play out the same script over and over. And
I'm guilty of that because I keep saying to myself, there's no such thing as time. There's no such thing as time because there's not.
Time is the 6, Chronos, Saturn, chronological. That time, Saturn has the 3D plane in a time capsule.
Yeah, I'm not in a time zone. I'll come back or I'll go to a different planet. There's no time. I mean, but there is time, but there's not. Anyways, I don't know. This stuff's deep thinking. Not everyone could think like this. Not everyone can just switch over and start talking about philosophy like this.
I can meet people where they're at. That's where we're at. Like I even know that you do that too. We meet them where they're at. So, and the frustration point, all that animosity thing, I don't even entertain that in my reality. But it's like you'll descend down because that's just part of us as souls because we all one. And whatever happens, even the TIs that are experiencing it on a low level, and the suicidal ones, a lot of those were soulless too. Because a real soul can't kill himself. You can't, and they can't, and you can't even kill yourself. And there's no self to kill, and self goes back to the cell too, with the prism and all that, and cells and the hexagram. But the prism and the what you call it, the prism of light, because it's like light being captured. That's the only way you can even have the concept of time is through the prism of light. Prison, cells, your blood cells, everything is a cell or an atom or going back to a molecule or whatever. What's the smallest specimen that the light can perceive? But beyond that, you got gases.
Well, that's what. Okay, so then you get into Cern when you start the atom splitting. Cern does that. How did you do research on the Cern rituals?
Yeah, it's in Switzerland, right? The Cern a machine is in Switzerland. Yes, when they break up the atomic atom, they bust it down. Basically, really everything is programs. So these are programs for souls to gravitate to make their reality. Is how high can you go? How low can you go? So it's where like the high, even if you went so high, you won't be able to get high in this dimension because the God source consciousness is inside of everything and outside of the source is nothing. So it's like it's gravy, like source made sources in everything and made everything. Source goes back to the soul. Soul is the source. Go back to your shoes and everything too. It's a lot. That's why you have to be grounded. The reason why we have shoes on our feet is because really not technically supposed to be wearing shoes, and they made everything concrete because they don't want you to get that connection with the source, which is your feet. We're supposed to be walking on grass every day and being connected. And then the sun every hour before sunset or every hour after sunrise, you're supposed to gaze at the sun at least. It could be 10 seconds, or you could go by the binary code with the one. You can go with 10 minutes. Like you build it up, and you'll start seeing that your hunger curve. You start losing weight. You won't even understand. Like you have no appetite. You start getting downloads at night. Your dreams become more vivid. Like the sun is really the sun is the reflection of the heart, which is going back to the Jesus source, because it's really you. That's why we call our children the male sons. Really, you call the daughter's sunsets. You know what I'm saying, or whatever the feminine principle to it. You know what I'm saying? That's why we call the male sons and everything. And the Christ consciousness, well, back to the Leo, that's why the Christ was from the tribe of Judah. And I believe Judah was the fifth son. But when you look at the zodiac, it's 12, mirroring the 12 disciples, the 12 apostles, the 12 years of high school that you have to graduate, everything that 12 inches to a foot. You know what I mean? 12 was basically, I forgot what scale that is.
12 days of light and 12 hours of light and 12 hours of dark, and then the 12 tribes of the 12 bloodlines. Yes,
Israelites, which is really, that is just a playwright mirroring the real school. Zodiac means house of the animal, zoo house. That's where you get the word zoo from, zodiac, zoo. And I believe there are only 2 or 3 actual humans that represent the zodiac. Everything else is animals and creatures. Like the crab is the Cancer, the lion is the Leo, the Scorpio, which used to be the eagle. I think the Libra has the scales that could be interchangeable with a man and a woman, but it's really the woman too. It's a feminine principle because when you're judging, you're supposed to be like passive and mostly the masculine principle is more so of judgment and action. So the feminine is more nourishing, affectionate, and what you call it? It's like grace. So that's why she's 7. Libra is 7. I can run the zodiac down, Aries, because when you deal with Abraham, you're dealing with the Aries. That's why Abraham had a ram in the bush. The ram in the bush represents the age of Aries, right? There's a ram in the bush to sacrifice his son, Isaac. But he had a ram in the bush because it mirrors Aries. And then when you read in the book of Exodus, it says God is a man of war. And when it's going back to war, it's talking about Mars, which is the god of war. And when you put ram backwards and don't add the S, it spells Mars. RAM, RAM. And then RAM also is the computer hard drive. The modem is called the RAM. And Aries is the first zodiac sign representing the RAM of this matrix. Go ahead, sir.
Like I totally before I used to never understand a lot of these things that you're talking about. You basically I feel like the bottom line here is the way I see God is they're aliens, because God comes from heaven, and when heaven is just what's above us, it's you look up, it's space. Yeah. And the word God is just more respectful than because naming God as an alien, it's like almost like not as respectful as calling it God. And I feel like we are in some type of simulation. And I know these entities they operate more like computers. Like for instance, like a spirit. I have some photos I will show later on, but if you zoom in on a spirit, it looks like it's in grid, like squares and rectangles, like kind of like that matrix symbol, with the bleeding like green screen, with all the letters. It kind of looks like that, like a spirit if you zoom in on it. And
well, planet means ET, plan ET. You can look at it that way, to the plan, like the plan ET, you call it extraterrestrial, or I call them entities. like the ghost, even the technology. They're interchangeable. Like technology and paranormal is interchangeable.
Exactly.
Because either they got it from
Absolutely. The Nazis were the ones doing it, integrating the aviation with the paranormal.
yes, ancient technology which they're doing every time anyway. Is they're conjuring entities. Entities give them information, ancient or not, because there always been resets. That's why when he said about the gang stalking being so heavy on people, because the reset is here. The age of Aquarius is right here. They ushered it in 1969. They had the song coming in because they knew that was the brink of it.
Okay,
1969, they went to the moon in 69 because it represents the Cancer constellation.
you mentioned
July 26, July 20th, 1969, Armstrong went to the moon, the so-called moon satellite, which is, these are all programs, is to program the soul to manifest as reality. So he'll say they did went to the moon. It's for duality. So you can say, oh no, they didn't. I have evidence here. No, I have evidence there. See how it is? So if you're always in duality with yourself, you can never one yourself with the soul, the source. Because really, at the end of the day, the beat duality is not have a dog in the fight. I'm not saying the God concept, the principles, like doing to others as you have them doing to you. These are neutral concepts. People look at, that's not duality. Doing to others as you have doing, meaning it's like the what you put out is what you get back. The suffering of us is really a manifestation of how we really feel. When I say so, I don't care, even if you wasn't being harassed, you're seeing your harassment because your source self wants you to awaken into your empowerment. Meaning that it's not, even you can call it ignoring it. It's not even ignoring it. It's like dealing with it. But if that's what it is, that's what it is overall, because they can't kill you or not. When you wake up to your self affirmation, who you really are, you're in this cell, because really you're just down here to have an experience, and you can't live in the past or be in the future. That's why the Christ consciousness said, "Take no thought of your life, take no thought of tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself." He's showing you he wanted himself. Even the Christ consciousness had it where he didn't even marry in his physical experience. Why he did that, and even the Apostle Paul, he said that it's better not to marry. But that could be marrying concepts and ideas, like when you agree and subscribe and saying, this is the absolute, this is all. No, there's many programs, and they all will fit into your perception for you to manifest or continue to be programmed by that program.
Well, here's the thing.
Are you saying, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Are you saying that the stalking or attack is, you said it's our higher self? Is that, or I don't know if that's the exact word you used. You said it's a higher awakening or a higher soul calling?
Yeah, it's your awakening. That's what it is.
That's what I say, but you're saying it. Yeah, I think you're saying, that's the same concept I have. Like, you have to go through this in order to step into power or something, or empowered.
Yes, your power, meaning that you lose power if you're worried about what happened yesterday or what can happen in tomorrow. You're supposed to make the best out of each moment
the present moment. Yeah. Oh, I get that because I research spirituality. I could tell you research spirituality, like not like a little bit, but a lot.
Yes.
So you mentioned a reset. So usually when I think of reset in society, it's some type of natural disaster.
Yes, floods, volcanoes, pandemics, and these are all to gain energy off of your source cell, because when these things happen, if you're not neutral, you're going to look at it in a negative way or in a way where it's going to affect you, and you could be part of that. Meaning you don't necessarily going to die in the physical because you have a contract to be in this reality that you agree to, that you don't remember to. But these are planes, like I said, Jacob's ladder. You can't say this to everybody, because then they'll say you're a perpetrator. Even that doesn't matter to me if a person calls me a perpetrator, this and that, because I know who I am. I am that I am. So I'm just putting information out there. Like, really, I can lose energy, but I know how to rejuvenate energy every day. I know what I do every day. Like, I seen my source self. I know how it is. It's a blue flame, they call it, the blue flame. I know that's what really source is. It's like a flame of consciousness, of infinite possibilities, infinite choices that source is experiencing through all its souls and its creations, entities that are set up as batteries. Some entities can actually you can actually manipulate them too, but they're good too. Meaning they're good is they don't have no bad intent. Some of them are neutral, and some of them are very, very grievous or very, very nefarious, because that's their job to get you to react, and then they get your energy, your essence, or put a hole in your aura, make it dark. You know what I'm saying? Because, and when I say blue flame, the flame is from a navy blue all the way up to a light baby powder blue, like the North Carolina.
Okay, well, I think we all have darkness. We all have dark.
Yes,
everybody.
Your darkness is when you close your eyes. But ultimately, your darkness is your shadow self. But that is
all my sin. I'm stacked with sin, but I'm aware of it, and I've confessed.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I'm still saying, like, there's a dark self that I feed on. Like, when I guess I get angry. I mean, you've seen me talk. You've heard me talk.
Yeah,
I
when
get
you
upset
angry,
still.
you tend to just go off.
I go off. Like, I'll flip out, man.
Your spirit is strong. Like, they don't scare they don't face you at all. And I know you're one of those TIs.
But that is my shadow side. That's what he's saying. That's the question. I guess that's what I'm saying.
What's your name again? TM Storm, right? Listen to this. You will only be able to perceive light and darkness in duality. And duality represents back to the Gemini twins. Adam and Eve represents the Gemini age or constellation or the concept. Cain and Abel represents the Gemini, the twins. Jacob and Esau represents the twins. Really representing duality. One was good, the good son, bad. They make movies about it. Everything. It's a tragedy. It's a drama playwright that's made for this third dimension. That's why I always give props to the Geminis out here. Like, even if I don't know if you're familiar with, like, okay, I can name a mini Gemini. You got Paul McCartney. I just named Tupac Shakur. Like, these people had duality personalities, because that is really is like the perfect zodiac in this reality. That's why people say, oh, the Gemini, he's this and that. That's why Trump and JFK are some of the greatest presidents, because if you really look at the qualities and traits of a Gemini, they're really not even, they're really a positive sign too. It's because you have negative, positive. 1 is positive, 2 is negative. That's why Eve is 2, even. Even means like twilight is in between, the twilights. But you can only have these concepts in this dimension. You know what I'm saying? Because it represents duality. When you say you have a dark side, you really, what you're doing is not venerating, but you're actually expressing the duality. Like, I have a dark side to me. Of course you do, because you're in a duality plane matrix off of energy harvesting. You could either like, that's why it says your fruits represents your actions. You know what I mean? Like a tree. You're like a tree of light. That's why Christ called us the Christ consciousness. Because when you read about the Christ, that's why they even use the duality with the Christ. They can have you fighting over Christ's complexion of the black or white, and you don't even understand. It's just it's a concept. It's mini Christ, and Christ dying on the cross. That's the 4 seasons, representing winter, spring, summer, fall, which is the zodiac wheel, which is the cross, and that's what our lives is. Every day is peaks and valleys, highs and lows, seasons. Sometimes you could be wet in the wintertime. That's why the song by the Temptations, My Girl. I got sunshine on a cloudy day. Because even though it's cloudy outside, he's still sunny inside. He feels like it's spring, the month of May. He merges. He can use that as positive to raise his frequency, and to get to the neutral state. Because neutral is really God consciousness. Because if you look at the source, it created evil and good. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, so how many people are accepting this concept, though? Like, I'm understanding what you're saying, but I don't know if people getting, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, hold on a second. How much work did you put into your research? Are these people willing to put this much work into all that knowledge that you have?
Because you can't wait. You can put out the information. It's like fisher of men. But I'm not fishing for nobody, because when you're on a higher plane of consciousness, you already realize that that souls are going to awaken in their own time, and some of them is not going to awaken in this game, and they're going to go back to source and be neutral and realize, like, this was all just experience. This is really a secondary matrix. Our real body, that's why the Christ told you that in heaven, they're neither married or given in marriage, all are like angels of heaven or angels of God, because there's no feminine or masculine or reproduction. You can look at it that way too, but ultimately you're a spirit, you're a soul, you're just a force of energy. You know what I'm saying? So when Christ said that there's neither male or female or marriage in heaven, they're all in one, angels of God, he's actually merging it, showing you that there's all neutral. So you'll see when you wake up, you can wake up, have a partial wake up of this. What I'm saying now, how I'm expressing the neutrality. I know it looks like and you're saying like I remember you just saying that. How are you gonna wake people up? This and that. You can't wake them up. This and the Bible also has duality in it, where there is entity programs that's in there to trap people up, so they'll stay in that duality fight mentality, meaning that I have to beat this or beat that. But your strongest potential is when you're in the neutral form.
So that's surrender. When you say
anything invested, you don't have anything invested. See, they'll capture you with that, and you think I gotta save the world. This and that. You'll lose so much energy, and you'll wake up and you'll be living in the past because you'll be like, oh, I didn't wake that guy up. I didn't wake this woman up. I didn't wake this child up. This and that. It's not about all that because him that is given is given to, and them that have not is not for them to have because they're not even raising their frequency. They got bad intentions. I'm just using it in general. Then they reflect themselves on programs. They don't even really realize they're soulless. That's why the Christ, like I said, he said, "Let thy eye be single." He's really talking about your eye, your focus being center self source focus, meaning that you know that you're living in the moment. And he's also talking about the entities around you because you will be able to see through their eye, their left eye, what you call that word? And that is the left eye is what tells you if it's a soul or not. That's why you have these celebrities and stuff. They poke their eyes out, or they lose their eyes and that, or the one eye symbolism with these cars. The entities know about the one singleness, which is duality. You got the one singleness of your eye, meaning you're focused in the moment of all your full potential every moment. You're not thinking about what happened in the past. You can filter through the past to build up your potential, but you can't be. You'll bring that past up, and then that'll actually resonate where your frequency is at. Because now
you're talking about being neutral, or what is another word? Because every time you say neutral, I never used that word, and it's good for present moment. This is where every time you say it, I think of present moment, or I think of surrender to God.
Yes.
Like a surrender. I don't know if you've ever heard that term.
God said the kingdom of heaven is within you. Then the Christ.
Well, I just hear you saying neutral. I just never used it, and I was just wondering, like, does that mean surrender to God and be in the present moment? Oh, he's muted and probably doesn't know it. Who muted him? Did somebody mute him? Did we get kicked offline?
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm back. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. How long was I muted? Okay, I was saying.
So the question was, yeah, you're muted. The question was, is when you say neutral, does that mean surrender to God?
Surrender to God. That is you.
Right, but it's to be in the present moment. Like you surrender you surrender the past and the future. You live in the present moment in the neutral where you don't give a shit.
You can look at, but your intentions behind the not giving a shit because you shouldn't anyway because it's just an experience. It's just an experience. It's just like the season.
I know what you mean. You're talking about meditation. You know that's just another word for meditation.
Meditation, contemplation. Everything
there's
has
a lot of meaning for neutral. When you say that there's a lot going on there. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yes. And guess what? This is not an easy game. This game is one of the hardest games that the source created. And guess what? There's other games outside of this that once you master this game, you're going to go into another game. And when you pass on into the frequency and make it back to the God source, which is you're going there anyway, you have a contract to come live out how many lifetimes that you agreed to get it right. It is a game. It's even a game on intent. Like you're not even supposed to kill a fly. Did you even know that? Like you're not even supposed to kill nothing. Like take nothing, no life. You can lose energy. But if you're doing it, your source self, actually, your higher self, know you want to use that word terminology, or yourself that's in the primary matrix. Because this is the secondary matrix. You're just a consciousness that they put it all in the movies. The Avatar movie is real. What's another one? Everybody uses the Truman Show, but there's one of the movies that really resonated with me was the Avatar movie. how he put himself into a pod or the Matrix too, and then all these hookups to you, streaming being streamed. I think it was another movie called Vanilla Sky with my man named Tom Cruise. They show you that, and remember he had all these flashbacks and memories because those basically memories is one of the hindrance. It could be to your beneficial too, but that's one of the major hindrance of your frequency raising is memories. Or it could be, if it's positive memories, it can raise your frequency because frequency, the source runs off of, for you to have your intent, you got to reach a certain level to be able to even be able to obtain anything, even the knowledge, or if you call it knowledge, knowing the knowing, because you know what I mean, these are all programs, words are programs, you know what I'm saying, or spells, you know what I'm saying, everything like that. And spells, it can be good spells or bad spells, but the programs
Well,
and the words.
people are. Oh, my mic's out. How's my mic? Is it working? Okay.
Yes, I hear you.
People want to, when they're here experiencing life, they want money and sex.
Yes,
and
well, that's
ego
lower
stuff.
planes. I'm gonna tell you about sex. Sex is animalistic. These are planes of consciousness. It's for the entities, and then they get all the sex and the money. That is also to make a source player or a source soul, like I was saying.
But they don't know what else to do. This is the problem. We were told to go to college. I was told I needed to get a job and get a car and get registration and insurance and drive to work and back. I had to do that.
That's part of the game. And guess what? If you don't do that, it's showing you where your priorities and your values and your intentions are, because you also can go live under a bridge. How would you feel about that? Now, if you're living under the bridge, it's all about perception. Do you look at that as a negative experience or a positive? If you look at it as a negative experience, the Matrix is going to give you more of that experience.
Well, it's looking more like a positive experience as we, observe what's happening.
Yes, because you're here to experience, observe, experience, and get control of your mind. Get control of, because your mind is connected to your body and your soul. It determines how you're going to express yourself in this reality and how you're going to maneuver in this reality. It's your intent. That's where miracles and all that stuff comes from. That's really you being lined up with that frequency to manifest that miracle. But they want you to give your energy to something outside of yourself, and the source is saying everything is in you, even in the Bible. But there's programs in the Bible to make you have a duality where you're thinking, no, it's this way, that way, or I'm sinning. Sin is a shame, guilt programming.
Well, a lot of these, can I say, gang stalking, people getting, yeah, okay, so a lot of people getting gang stalked are saying, they're saying they're energy extractors.
Yes, they are. And some of them are not even real souls. They're here to trap souls like us into stay in the programs and to a lower frequency. There's 11 planes of consciousness. That's why it was 9/11. Because after 9 is one again.
Jimmy, I have to stop you. Sorry. I like listening to you, and I do want to hear what you have to say. But I also know that a lot of these viewers, they probably wouldn't.
Yeah. Okay. I got you.
Understand how advanced you are. So let's bring it down a little bit and let's take it slower. Because I know you have a
But hey, I can keep up with you, Father Jimmy James.
Yes,
I can process.
I agree with a lot of things you're saying. Actually, I did learn some stuff from you as well just now. But I'm trying to think about.
I'm getting all kinds of learning that I haven't been able to learn anything in a while. Yeah, no, I appreciate. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, make a video. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is a video. This is a video. This is the moment.
This is good. No, this is perfect, actually. Yeah, this works.
Let's come back to the objective here with the evidence. So Father Jimmy, so I would assume that you have seen videos of other people uploading evidence. And
yes, I've been watching for like 3 years of that. Prior to that, I was part of a Israelite community. I got trapped up in that programming, but my intent when I was preaching the Bible on the street corners, I was under the impression that the Israelites are the blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and they are the Irish, the Scottish, like different ethnic groups that experience persecution. But I realized the program only made that program to appeal to my frequency. So I gravitated to that because I was looking at the the atrocities that happen to these groups of people. Because these groups of people, majority of them, I'm saying over the timelines, are just entities. You have entities that's made of the Matrix game. They are batteries. We're the batteries, and they are battery harvesters. They take your energy. So
okay. Now let's slow down. Let's break it down. So I agree with you. You're saying before you thought it was these different groups of people, but you turned later on you found out they were being manipulated by the actual entity, which are gang stalkers,
yes,
to make you think, which is the frequency, makes you
yes,
think that, oh, they are the gang stalkers, but in reality,
yes,
they're not. And when I say they are like people driving in the cars or people
yes.
walking on the streets, but it's actually the program, the actual gang stalkers, let's say entities, spirits,
Yes.
um, aliens, whatever.
Yes.
They are the one that's making you think
Yes.
that those people are the gang stalkers. That's the
Yes.
frequency, correct?
Because and you're not even on the mentality or you don't have the what you call insight to know that it is entities or that is a game, a program that's designed to harvest energy off of you to keep the reality going in your reality. Because guess what? I'm talking to you and Mrs. T in Store right at this moment, but we're in 3 different timelines. You can prove timelines is real even on a physical plane, because I believe you're in Hawaii, I'm in Jersey. I don't know where T and Store is, but that's 3 different time zones. You know what I'm saying? So we're like you're 2 or 3 hours ahead of me, or behind
I know
me.
what you mean. I read something in a book I have about how if I go somewhere, I jump the timeline. I just read that somewhere.
Yes, thoughts are
And
timelines.
so if you move your bed, even like you lift your bed up or something and sleep, it'll make a difference in your timeline or your energy or frequency.
Yes.
Yes, it will. Because
Yes,
okay, for me, ever since I was young, I always believed, okay, at least for the last 10 years, strongly that if things are kind of in life are kind of, routine, kind of boring, routine, go to work, whatever, come home, eat, sleep, next day, do whatever, go to work, like there needs to be something that's different, and like planting a tree or doing something that's not within your routine will definitely change the future. That's how I feel. I've been feeling this way, strongly feel this way for a long time now. So yeah, moving your bed, I do believe it will.
Well, I just read something recently about that in this paradigm. I'm researching just the term paradigm, and they talk about it because somebody was telling a story, and they said they were driving somewhere, and then they ended up in a different state for only 10 minutes and then popped out of the state. Like, yeah, it was weird. Anyways, paradigm. That's the word that describes what he was saying about different time zones. Like you're in Hawaii. I didn't even know that. I'm in Arizona and he was in Germany. So that's what he said, right?
I think he said Jersey.
No, he said Germany. Oh, well, whatever. He's gone. He took off. Yeah. There he is. So sometimes I have to click off and then click back on because my mic stops working.
Same here. I jump on many people's lives and they cut this live short. See, I don't go into low frequency playing, pointing out who's souls or who's not, but I do know that there's souls in the chat. So I interact with entities because you can't even judge them, because when you judge, you're really judging yourself, and that can lower your frequency too, your frequency vibration. Because that's why it says judge, and if you judge, you shall be judged. But ultimately too, it's just because that's the makeup of us as source. We're neutral naturally. So if you're having judgment, we have positive judgment is more beneficial than having negative judgment about someone. It'll get you further for your frequency to raise up, and then you realize that it was nothing at all. Like even like this program, like they can't kill you. The poisons and all that type of things that they're doing to us, and electromagnetic weapons, this and that. That's all because you're programmed under that. So these things will be carried out.
Oh wait, I got something to ask you. What do you guys think about? Because the gang stalking's like an energy vampire. What do you guys think about 5G? Do you think that's also vampiric? Well, it's you guys' perspective might be that it's alien because all technology is alien, or all technology is negative because it drains our energy, correct? That's the question. That's my ultimate.
5G represents the heart. What do they call it? The heart of a lion. Like I said, you have the Aries, you have the Taurus, you have the Gemini, you got the Cancer. That's 4. Then you have the 5th zodiac, which is the Leo, the lion. It's the heart. The 5G goes back to with the virus. The corona is your crown chakra. It's basically correlating with them trying to shut down you from reaching your source. The source, which you call it the biblical, like how you're born, you have a biblical cord. You have an Ethernet to the source. It's invisible. Like I love how Hunan says the entities that you can't see, but you can see them through the physical reality, through the people's actions. Some majority of the people that's interacting with interacting with souls, I call them source players. The ones that's interacting with you, they're meeting you where your frequency is. They're meeting you where your vibration. Yes, it will take. If you consider time as time, then yes, it seems like it's a long time. That's why the Christ has that suffering, passion of Christ in the Bible and everything, the crucifixion, because that's also representing the weather of life, the seasons of life. You have Frankie Valli in the 4 seasons. Frankie Valli in the 4 seasons. That's also a symbolism of the zodiac.
So wait, hold on a second. So 5G. The thing is that I think I have a theory on 5G that it's there to manipulate. It's another manipulation tactic from this whatever entity. I don't know.
You're 5 God. You are the 5 God.
That feeling is probably coming from well, that's in a way that's kind of like a negative feeling.
So I don't know, because the paranormal too. Like I mix a lot of theories together. That's another part of my problem is I integrate a lot of different stuff.
Oh, the program introduces you to these concepts for you to gravitate to them. Then they become real.
Something. The mind's powerful. The thing is that people are getting their energy extracted through this process.
By me getting my energy extracted, I would never be able to wake up to my source self. So I had to go through these experiences to realize what's going on, to I awaken to what is going on. Everything
people
is in the
don't sleep enough. You know what? People don't sleep enough.
Some people sleep around too much. I'm just playing. See, I joke.
I don't know. People don't get enough hours because they have to be at work in 6 more hours. Like you don't have enough time in the day. Not if you work 8 hours a day.
Because they're invested in the matrix, but that's not their fault. When it comes to that part, that's also part of their natal chart.
Hold on, no, I'm going to argue. What about the Amish? They seem to have figured a lot of things out.
Yes, because they detach. They represent, a lot of them are entities, but that's a program that you can gravitate to.
I just got respect for them. Respect for the Amish. If there's anybody,
I have respect for them.
We all need to respect, like, just trying to use our natural environment to produce a product without all this processing.
That's a door. That's a choice you can take. So if you want to become Amish and live off the grid, yes, you're still going to have negative and positive situations and choices that you have to.
So you're saying no matter what the technology is, we struggle spiritually. Oh, that's a good one. Because the Native Americans, the Native Americans were talking to extraterrestrial and then got slaughtered by the white man.
Exactly. Listen to this, ma'am. I gave you a secret. The 33 reason why the Masons represent or value the number 33, which we have 33 vertebrae in our spinal cord, but ultimately the 33 is the 3rd dimensional plane, which is the 3rd rock from the sun, which is the earth, and then you have the duality.
Well, hold on. There's the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Spirit.
That's the 3. You see that? And guess what? If you and I came together and made a child, that's the 3. Or you can have twins, which is the 4, but more than likely you'll have one child, because a lot of the children born.
So hold on, you know a lot about conception and your thoughts during conception.
That's the 3 too. The mind. That's why you have
my dad's a 33-degree Mason.
Yes, because they're mirroring your ascension.
Well, I was born on exactly 33 degrees in California, the 33 degree. And I just found this out the other day because I did research
Christ
I was trying to get
crucified.
my dad's DD-214. Anyways, I looked at my birth certificate and I researched the birth chart. You talked about the birth chart. And I'm like, what? The city and state landed on 33 degrees, and my dad's age on my birth certificate is 33.
Yep.
It was
See that?
freaky. No, I got to show it. The thing is that, well, I can't confront my father. I'm not going to. I don't know. It looks superstitious.
Okay, now that's everything we're saying. Our whole language, us communicating right now at this moment, is all programs because we went to school, we learned how to talk, they taught us language, and now it's how you perceive these programs. Listen, many players in this
Wow,
game,
because I
many players
perceived
in this,
it this way. That's why the number's that way. That's what you're
yeah,
saying.
that, or you can perceive it the way I'm trying to tell you too, which if it
Oh, you
resonates with
can
you,
have another, you can have a Jesus found, you can have a Moses foundation. What about a Moses thought process?
Moses is the same thing as Jesus when
Yeah,
he split the Red Sea, splitting the Red Sea represents the
no,
left
I
and
don't
right
like
brain.
that saying. No, that triggers me because the gang stalking is all the red. You're surrounded by the red, so it looks like you're splitting the Red Sea. Really creepy. Yeah.
Well, red connotates to the red zone, which is red
Well,
zone
the
is
grounding, I mean, sex, everything. It's the sex chakra, right? It's the six.
hunger.
Yeah.
Let me
Hunger
tell you
is
guys
everything.
something. Let me tell you guys something. The
What's
entity
that?
that we're talking about, all these entities, back during the Bible time, that entity is still around now.
Let me tell you what that entity was, Hunan. That was the same entity that told Abraham to kill his son, which was during
Yes.
the Aries age.
I
During
do
the Aries.
Let
That's
me tell you.
voice to
Also, let me tell you
skull.
something. Let me tell you something. I had this thought recently. Okay, just a couple weeks ago. Okay, Adam and Eve. You know how the tree and the apple and the snake. I believe now that the same entity was also God telling them don't eat the apple, but this afterwards, it was the same entity telling, okay, Eve to eat the apple, but Eve saw a snake, and it's telling Eve the snake is talking to you, because if you think about it, snakes can't talk, but we can receive voice to skull. So, and sometimes these voice to skull, it's almost like a conversation or a thought that beams into your mind. So it's like the same entity is playing the God telling them not to eat the apple, and then turn around and then telling her to eat the apple. It's like a test.
Yeah.
And I think throughout history, people have been mistaken about the snake that's talking, because the snake wouldn't be able to talk, but the
Voice
entity
to
can
skull.
definitely communicate like a God.
Voice to skull is basically the foundation of the Bible. Even when you read the Bible,
Exactly.
it's the
Yes.
voice to skull telling you how to interpret it according to your frequency.
There's a
That's
lot
why
of
there's so many
passage in there talking about all of a sudden a voice pop into people's head, and there'll be three people hearing the same message coming into their head.
Yep. When they said, go in there and kill, slaughter everyone, leave no one alive, man or child, kill all the animals, isn't that? That's lower voice to skull, which is because what happens is we have always had positive streams and negative streams. The negative streams of consciousness coming through your middle ground, which is your
Wait a
source.
second. I want an example of a positive, something positive I could do right now as an example of a choice to be in the present moment. I don't know. I want an example. Can you guys give me an example of that?
And that's an exercise because it takes it takes a while to build up to that, to stay in a moment, because I'm the same way, but I understand how to filter it. I catch it, and it's like a 5-second rule you got to give yourself. And I heard Hunan talking about that too, how he how he's doing. He built up his mind enough to know that it's a voice to skull. How did he do that? Through experience. Then he realized that these are voices and they're not him. Why? Because he's connected to his source. It's his way how he want to interpret it. What I'm meaning is he don't have to say that it's a duality and the third rock from the sun, like I'm saying it. But
wait a second. Is it? Can we call it an imagination?
Yes.
Just call it imagination then.
Imagination, magic, magnets, all that go together. Your imagination is a magnet. Your imagination. That's why they say your mind can get the best of you. They say don't make a mountain out of a molehill. Some things that how some of us are responding to our awakening can make a mountain out of a molehill.
Exactly.
That's why you have certain TIs. I don't like to speak negativity so much, and I'm not acting like I'm clean shoes. And I'm just doing that as a disclaimer because for me doing that, I could take away from my empowerment, but I also know how to filter it. So I'll not even dumb myself down. I'll lower I meet you where you're at. And also, ultimately, there is really no level once you understand that there is no 11 planes of consciousness once you reach your source. But but you could use those channels to get to what I'm saying, living in the moment through different concepts that I'm showing through different analogies of the Bible, astrology. What do the Bible say? Stay away from this and that. Now that's duality again. Which is the lower voice, the skull, telling you, oh, this is bad for you. Because really, there's no bad or good. It's only in this plane of consciousness because it's duality. That's why you have man and woman, hot and cold, red and blue. Blue is associated with a lot of positive things. You never really have blue associated with negativity other than like gloom, you know what I mean, or somebody weary. They'll use that a little bit, like he's kind of blue. I'm blue today. They did that, the programs, but naturally blue associated with water, cleansing, a baby boy too. I'm just using that example. But pink is with the girl. But red is associated with like the devil, fire, hell, like judgment. You know what I'm saying? I'm mad, I'm angry. Red, you know what I'm saying? It's the duality. Now, you could tell a person that and they're not awakened to their source self and they can't filter that. I'm just using an example. I could go my way and hit the highway. I'm in my car now and start looking at the gang stalkers in a negative way where it's going to continue to manifest it in that way because actually it could still continue is how I want to filter it. I don't care. They have it set up with the material thing because it's duality. So you feel that this is making my life worse. I had all these ideas for myself, this and that, but you really don't even connect it to yourself to know what is for you and what is best for you. You might think that a wife and family, I'm just using an example, or a picket fence, or making lots of money, and it would have been easy. That was like your goal, your drive, but you don't even resonate with that plane anyway. You're not meeting the right people, the choices, because there is planes of consciousness I've been around. And today I was in a situation where I wasn't acknowledging the harassment. I didn't even notice if it was there or not. The pains, I had pains 2 days ago in my arm, like when I sleep this and that. But I noticed that you're always going to be tested and filtered for frequency.
We're not if we're still alive here, my attitude is that if we're still alive here, we still got something to learn.
You got something to learn, but you have a contract. What you have to learn is you. You first. Family, they call it family first. Is really.
I think we need to fear a God judgment. There is some type of universal.
Fear is a program. Fear is a program, and that can lower your frequency.
I still fear God first.
Well,
but here it is. Here it is. The concept here is, yes, you fear God, and that's fine. But at the same time, it should already come naturally in your heart. You don't even need to think about it. Like just by thinking about
did the Native Americans have anything to fear before the white man came and chopped off their head?
I'm skinned
over.
I'm sure someone did fear things and others didn't.
Okay.
It's based on the individual.
That's programs. Those annihilations and genocides.
Are we collapsing old timelines? You know, a lot of people see it like that.
That too. But listen, when they taught us this, that's why they keep making these slavery movies. These are all reinforcing programs for the source player to lose energy. Now you're invested in that.
They do. Yeah, they try to get inside the subconscious mind.
There you go. You have to line up your subconscious, your conscious, your physical body, your what you call it, your emotional body, your physical body, your subconscious body, your conscious body, and your focus. You line those 5 up, that's the 5 frequency planes. That's why when you had the Jackson 5 was 5 of them. They always made it 5. They never really make it 6. 5, like a lot of groups, quintets, they're 5 because that's the heart. Once you got the 5th member, that's the heart. That's why when they used to have the Jack, I was looking at, this came to me, like this is how it happens when you raise your frequency. You don't look at everything according to your frequency plane. So, and you'll know when you're falling down, because I fall seldomly. I fall down planes of consciousness because I get back. The matrix will always try to program you back into the game of duality. But when you look at it, it's the heart. That's why when you have the Christ character, he has 2 fingers pointing at the sky and a hand over his heart. He's showing you where the crossroads is. It's the heart. The heart is the strongest frequency plane for you to raise up. It's the strongest organ. It's like a musical instrument. and there's ways of opening your heart, and there's ways of strengthening your body. There's ways of strengthening your subconscious. The way I'm talking too can strengthen your subconscious. Even if you're not getting it consciously now, I'm still talking, and your subconscious is picking it up. And you'll be riding down the street or walking, whatever, in a moment, and remember, oh, that's what that was about. Like, you're gonna see, because your source awakening is really a time period for you to reach a certain frequency plane where there's no going back. Like, you'll see when your frequency plane is opened up, you'll start manifesting the worst experiences or the best experiences for yourself. And you won't value positive experiences in the way that you thought it was before. Like, you think a positive experience is sex or orgasm. I'm just using examples, or cars, or houses. We all use that on this Western side of the world. If you go to like a lot of Eastern, so I know Hunan's name is like a Hinduism type of name, right? Hunan, is that like that Hindu? That's a program too. But I'm saying my name's a program. My real name is not Jimmy. My name is Lee Royale. That's why I use the Leo Lion a lot too.
Well, there's a language, so that's another thing, I guess. I don't know, switching subjects, but you're talking about language a little bit because there's too many languages on this planet. I've heard that. I've heard people say that. And then there's a such thing as telepathy. And oh man.
Well, here's the
Hold
thing.
on.
Let me say something.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. This lady's wearing a red hat, walking a white dog, wearing a white shirt and red pants.
Okay, perfect.
It looks like Where's Waldo? It looks like,
yeah.
Where's Waldo?
Talking for you.
Go ahead, brother.
Okay.
How do you perceive that? How's the lower voice to skull? Now, TN Storm, back to you now.
No, it's because we're on here talking. I've never seen anything like this.
No, it's good. But look, now,
I'm in the woods. You do realize I'm in the middle of the woods right now.
No, I understand what you're saying. But listen, you'll be able to tell your frequency by your attitude. Now it's like how your attitude is going to interpret that experience.
Is it negative or is it positive? What's going to happen now? Should my heart start beating and I should think the worst case scenario?
No. What you do is you ignore that lady because that lady just walking. She didn't come up and talk to you. So she's gone now. But yeah, it was just a brief moment. Somebody walked by the road with. It's just a red flag as I'm talking to you guys. You see what I'm saying? It looks like a red flag. It looks like a little red flag flying and telling me, "Hey, look at this." No,
is it focusing on the conversation? Hold on. Is it trying to take my energy and take it away from the conversation?
Yes, it is.
It took your focus away.
It took
just
focus,
now.
Yeah. It took your
It
focus out the moment.
disturbed my peace. Hold on. It disturbed my peace.
It did. That's why I said put on the full armor of God. You're saying God, but you're looking at God. Even when you look at God outside yourself, and we've been programmed to think, if you think that it's a sin.
You're not going to believe what I'm seeing right now. A red truck's driving by, like what? Right back to the lady. This is unbelievable.
Yep.
See what I'm saying? It's unfucking believable. I don't care. It'll get to your head. No, man. I can see how people are frustrated with this shit.
It can get to your head.
Let me ask you.
Or not.
What is it doing to you when you see it? Why is it frustrating you?
No, it's not doing anything. A lady with all red and then a red truck, and I'm in the middle of the fucking woods.
They knew it would trigger you too. The Matrix. It really is yourself. It's showing you every day where you at in your frequency or your attitude. I'm not saying how you react to negative or not.
What is it? So red and white to me just mean, I don't know. I used to think it's the blood of Jesus. I don't know how I'm interpreting it anymore. I'm mind fucked now. I don't know. I need to be reprogrammed. We need to reprogram our attitude. I don't know.
Yeah. These imaginations.
I don't know.
In the gang stalking community, a lot of TIs, they tend to hurt him or herself by doing too much imagination. And a lot of times these imagination or in the direction of a very negative thought process. And to battle it, you just gotta it's not gonna be fixed in one day or a few months. It's gonna take years. Just recognizing these negative thoughts and then try your best to stop the process of the negative thought and if need to switch to some positive thought, but that's gonna require more energy from you. But if you can just stop it, but at the same time, don't let those negative thoughts hurt your own heart or hurt your own feelings, because you need to tell yourself that's just an imaginary thought beam into your head, because in reality, it's not really happening. It's just a thought. And sometimes these thoughts can get so vivid in a person's mind that the person will start living it out like it's reality. That's what's going on.
What dimension? I want to know what dimension I'm in. I'm in a lower level than I'm on the third then. For that moment, hold on a second. for that moment, I was on a lower vibrational. I could switch it anytime I want.
Yep. The way you're talking right now, that's the source. That's how your source is. That's how you really are. Where I have a choice. It's like self, what you call it? You got self-affirmation. What's the other one? They got the self. They have programs out there that even empower you. Self-empowerment. Like, you know, like you could say, no, I will not accept that. Or you could be neutral. Like, turn your head. Like, I don't. The matrix responds to that too. If you got 5 seconds. I always use the word, the number 5 too, because that's the fifth plane. That's when you start manifesting your reality, when you realize that you can change things, or things are according to your choices and how you look at things, or how you perceive them is your perception. And this game is so intricate and very what you call the word, meticulous. Like, it's down to the fine. If we got atoms where you can't even see them, or cells, that's how this game is reacting off of your response. So if you respond in a way like, oh, the gang stalking is not stopping this and that, or this, like, at the end of the day, you're here for experience. And even if your contract was your experience to be gang stalk here, this was only an experience. And you had other timelines, but that's higher up if you realize it too. There was times where you was rich in a time. I'm sure that's how the Matrix, not sure, but I know that you have a contract.
Second, hold on. Was I a slave and I was Jesus, or I don't know, I was all the way back even further?
You was Joan of Arc. I was playing.
I like that. No, I like that. I'm gonna stick with that. I might even change my name now.
Yes, laughter is good. Kind, positive thoughts. Because really,
but that's a good imagination. We're saints. Yeah, we're all saints. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yep.
I mean, so there's some positive Hollywood stuff. Like, I believe there's education in some of our art. I don't know how to put it, but it's not all wasted. Everything, like a lot of things we can recycle. You know, like the knowledge, like people think that they lost something, or they feel they think people are taking their energy, right? So they feel like they're getting taken advantage of.
Yes, and you're gonna see that it's not even about the people; it's all about you. Your source, when your frequency raise, you'll see that it's nothing you can do about anybody else's choices. I don't care if it's really your children. I have 2 children, but there's certain choices. I'm not around them every 24/7. But I'm saying there's choices that they have to make for themselves. And I'm on a higher plane of frequency where I understand that they're entities, but I actually energize them and build them up by my example and my choices, so they can have the best life they can
so
have.
You're saying that we create our own reality.
Everything is script. This is
we create our own reality. We're creating our own, because we think that we need to go to work and life has to suck, but no, it doesn't. It only does that because you were programmed through your mom and your dad.
Yep. And that was in the contract. That was in the contract.
It's all based on how you want to see the world. If you want to see the world as a very happy place, I mean, that over time you're gonna become that person, that really happy person, and it's gonna take time to really change that mindset in your spirit.
You'll start saying hello to your gang stalkers. This and that. Like, your frequency raised so high they can't even go around you. I gotta pump my gas for myself, man. I'm not even in a self-serve state. But I gotta get out and put the pump in, because the guys are so scared. The attendants are scared of me. Not even so much scared of me. My frequency don't match theirs, but I still have to be. I'm in their time. They're in my timeline. I'm not in there, because 99% of people around you are entities. They're not even souls. And that's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's neutral, because they're just characters in your game, in your scripted reality. That's why they call the Bible the scriptures. It's a script. It's written. It's written, but you have to live outside it. When you raise your frequency, you change the contract. You can, it's called, I forgot what it's called, clauses and contracts and stuff like that, but there's a way where the contract don't even exist no more. You'll have people in your reality that was in your reality before that you won't even ever remember again that they ever existed, because you raise on such a frequency. Like 90% of people, gang stalkers, family members are not in their reality because they're not on the frequency.
I want to stay on that subject, but I want to switch over, because the tribulation is...
That's a program.
See, you keep saying that. It keeps fucking me up, so I could change tribulation. But
Yes,
the
you
thing
can.
is that everybody's operating on that consciousness
And you
or
for
frequency.
everybody. That's a program. Everybody. It's not
Yeah,
about
they are.
everybody.
The majority of us operate on that.
No, but don't worry about everybody. If you worry about everybody, you losing energy.
Well, I
It's
like
really,
the
it's really
concept.
it's a
still.
selfish game. It's a selfish game, but selfishness is not really necessary. There's a positive selfishness and there's a negative selfishness.
Yeah, because you do have to be selfish to survive, right? You got to eat and shelter and everything.
You will never find your source self unless you're selfish.
So you have to be single. I think people have to be celibate for a long time to spiritually grow at a certain level, I think.
If you want to experience sex in this reality or procreate, that's your
I
choice.
will. Yeah,
But-
I will.
but
Trust
you
me.
do-
I can if I want. You see what I'm saying? It's a choice. That's why people don't understand what I do. I rather.
But every choice has a consequence. Just like when you looked at that woman with the red shirt on, or whoever was walking by in the red truck, that was a choice.
Yeah.
You could choose how you want to perceive it. Even if, and then when you go online and tell people I'm being gay, so this and that just riles up the programming more. And it also, when you say everybody, it could cause a stress to stay inside that program.
Yeah, I've heard people say to stop calling it gang stalking because you're programming yourself for the program. Yeah, I've heard people say that. I've heard a lot of people say that.
Hunan helped me out a lot. He actually is part of my timeline too, to give me more insight on what's going on too. And I give him energy for that. And I'm on his timeline now, communicating him in this moment. Because I can see what frequency he's on, and I see that how different targets are on different frequency levels. Frequencies is just attitude and perception. That's what it is.
Yes,
your vibration, where you're vibrating at.
I agree.
Well,
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
agree with that.
Yes,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Hey,
Thank you.
and I'm glad I got to talk to you right now because I learned a lot from you in this live stream.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for showing up tonight. And yes, thank you.
Yeah, no
And
problem.
the other guy that was here, it's I don't know his name. I haven't seen him around the community. Anyways, I don't remember. We're all just people talking and relating with each other. You know what I'm saying? I mean, can we all just relate to each other and just appreciate that?
It's not about the collective. The only collective is source. That's when you come out of the game. When you check out of the game, then you're back with the one source. In this game is duality. That's why you're a female, I'm a male. That's why there's left and right, up and down, back and forward, cat and dog, day and night. You see it all around. You see everything. McDonald's, Burger King, job, unemployment, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Everything's a duality. So the best.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. See, I don't really have that type of mindset. I know the term, and I've done research because I see a lot of black and white.
Polarity. Call it polarity.
Yeah, I see a lot of black cats, and then I'll see a white cat right after it, and I'm like, oh wow, that was like really weird. Yeah, I'll get the weird cat cross, black and white cat.
What Hunan is expressing is the neutrality with his own programming term, which is voice to skull. But he's telling you the neutral part too. He's saying you can look at it this way or that way. But if you ignore it and don't acknowledge it at all, you always then you'll go watch a video. They'll be saying, how the hell can you ignore your gang stalking? That's another program to get you back into the programming. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many reinforcers out there, and these people are not even souls, they're just entities, because they're gaslighting you too. You could bet it's also the lower voice to skull to have you interpret it as gaslighting. But you can look at it like they're doing what they're designed and programmed to do. Is to gaslight you, or have it when you're raised a higher frequency plane. What I'm saying is knowing that it is the conscious streams being in your mind, or you can look at it as the entities or the invisible forces that's telling you this is that, because they already know your mind, they know everything. Nothing is private. The Bible even talks about that. None of our thoughts are private.
I had to learn that. There's nothing here that is going to be private anymore. I tell people that a lot.
Michael Jackson said, you are not alone. You never was alone. You always have consciousness observing. Consciousness is us. Consciousness is everything. Even the
This is
unconsciousness.
hard stuff for everyone to understand. So I'm just glad you were here tonight. I wasn't expecting you. You were a blessing. Thank you.
No
Hey,
problem.
Father Jimmy, in my last video, I'm gonna show you something, and you're gonna make so many connection. You're just gonna understand so much more because, like you said, there's no privacy. I'm gonna explain to you why that's true, and you're gonna understand exactly what I'm talking about in the last video. So
Yes.
I'm excited now
Okay.
to know that at least you out there will understand. I know
You
developer will
never,
understand.
you never, your thoughts were never private. Your nudity, all that, it was never private. They're always private eyes, like the what's the group called Hall and Oates, Private Eyes. They put the programs is telling you, but you got to be on a frequency plane, like the perception of how I'm explaining it to see what I'm saying. And this is no less. This is even I can play the duality game and lose energy, but I know how to regenerate the energy. Meaning that I can look at it that way. I can meet you where you are and not lose energy because of training of my mind, knowing that I'm not going to.
I have a word. I use a certain word for that, Father
Don't
Jimmy.
Sorry, Miss TNT. Don't condemn yourself. Don't shame yourself. Don't sin program yourself. Don't let that's programming to get energy out of you. So you're saying I'm not good enough, or I sin and this and that. Sex is not a bad thing. That's just a choice. But if you're choosing to lay down with entities or soulless beings, or even a soul that
you're talking about transmutating energy, taking something, transmutating it, and creating something else.
Emotions are energy. Emotions,
right? But that's what I would call transmutating. That's what the word I use.
Emotion means energy in motion. So whatever your emotions are is energy. It could be positive, negative emotions, or neutral emotions, where you have no emotion to it at all. That's actually a state of mind. They call it stoicism.
The human experience, you have to have emotions here.
Well, you're gonna have emotions here because that's the game. The game is duality.
Yes, you have to. It's the human experience. It's emotion.
Oh, yes. But with that human experience, if you're always gonna have negative experiences due to having emotions, what's good to have emotions that are negative? So if you allow your gang stalking or your so-called entity programming to continue to what you call it? I should call it downgrade your mentality.
It enhances more. Anything you feed, whether it's dark or light, it enhances, right? You're feeding it.
Yes. So if you're neutral, you always can go up the plane of consciousness, Jacob's ladder. I've seen angels descending.
Oh, I got homework to do. Hold on, everybody write that down. I gotta write that down. Jacob's ladder. I want to watch that movie as homework. That's my homework assignment.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And guess what homework means? Working on yourself. Homework is home. You are the home. Your body is the abode. Abode means body. Abode is your house. You can't take care of everybody else if the house, your home, is not stable and foundated. So the programs gave us many foundations that are faulty just to drive energy or to gain or harvest energy off your source cell. Because every day when you wake up,
well, gang stalkers, people that are getting gang stalked are educated on energy, because it's taking their energy. They're noticing it's taking their energy. People who get gang stalked are noticing that. Everybody says it's an energy vampire.
Can I say something? I'm gonna tell you, majority. This is my perception. Majority of the people being gang stalked are entities anyway. You know what I'm saying? They're just programs. See, the Matrix.
They can ascend. Hold on. They can ascend if they want to.
You can ascend, and by your ascension, your reality changes their reality. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So if
that's how you exit gang stalking.
I know this concept. That's
there you go. That's how you exit. That's how you exit it.
How you exit gang stalking. It's by realizing what's going on, and then you wouldn't think that people are following you. You wouldn't think that car is harassing you. You wouldn't think someone in a parking lot is recording you. You know, like you wouldn't think of anything like that anymore.
And they're responding according to your frequency and your perception because they know that you're going to react like that. But we're in an ego because another part of the duality is ego. So you look at it like these motherfuckers are violating my rights, this and that. Yeah, you can look at it that way. But how are they gaining access to violate your rights? Now you can go through all the programs, the legislation, the DEA, the FBI, the CIA, these helicopters, this and that. This is a game you're in. All these instruments was created to design to harvest energy off of your consciousness, off of your perception. That's why you.
Yes.
So
How
I'm
can you
gonna
have
be. I could be whoever I want. What you're telling me is I can be whoever I want tomorrow. Is if I decide it. If I believe it can happen.
That's your choice. Now, but look at you. And
But
I'm
no,
saying people
you're
in general.
saying I can create it. No, through a thought. If I believe it, but I have to believe it because if you don't believe it, it doesn't work.
Exactly. Believe is very powerful. If you believe in
Yes.
something, it will definitely shape your future.
It's shaping everything. Belief structures are shaping. That's why there's a huge power. They're collapsing their belief structure, and then there's a bunch of suicides. I mean, you guys notice the amount of suicides
Well-
because these people don't have beliefs.
And you're right,
Don't
because
worry about them.
well,
Don't worry
Yeah,
about
I'm
it.
just
don't worry about the
using them as
people.
an example of what you create for yourself. Like, if you have no hope, there's no hope. There's no, like, these people feel hopeless. Jesus gave us hope. It was supposed
cares?
to.
This
Who
is through
cares? Because-
years. Sorry, this is through years of training their mind to
But
not.
who's
for
telling
themselves
their
or-
narrative story? You guys see what I'm saying? Who's telling the narrative? Who's running the narrative of your life right now? Who's writing your script? Yours.
There you go. There you go. I like that talk. Now you're talking some good shit too, right there, where you said script. Whose narrative and script goes interchangeable too.
Right. So who's writing mine and who's writing yours and whatever. I'm gonna focus on you or me or whatever. Who's writing
You
my
wrote your
script? For
script.
what?
You wrote your
No,
script.
I'm being gangsta. No, I'm being gangsta. So I
You're
can't have a life.
gangsta.
I'm not allowed to have a life.
Your gang stalking is your awakening. It's your awakening.
See how they limit themselves like through their mind, and then it happens, it manifests into the reality? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and see, you have all the answers in you. The answers in you. You see how you're what you call it? I forgot what it's called. I mean, it's a word. What you're doing is you're reasoning. You're rationalizing. That's part of your
Yeah,
source.
I'm trying. Well, the thing is that I'm working my mind because
There you
I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, this
It's a mind game.
I could
It's
be
a
a rock
mind game.
star tomorrow. Not everyone can be a rock star tomorrow. They don't believe they can, so they can't. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's why the word believe has the word lie in it. Because if you really want to break the compounds, or is a word, believe is a what you call it, a compound word. Believe, right? Or 3 syllables, right? Believe. I guess it is.
Oh yeah.
So you have the
Yeah.
lie right there. L-I-E. Believe. Believe is a lie. But lie is about how your lower voice to skull is going to interpret it. Now you can interpret it and say believe is a negative word now. No, you don't have to look. You can look at it. It's
Just like
changeable.
everything's sexual. Hold on, everything's sexual. I meet people that are like everything. Oh, it looks like a dildo, or it looks like a dick, or a penis, or a vagina.
A dick is beautiful. A
But I'm
vagina
just
is
saying
beautiful.
they're perceiving. Some people perceive everything as sexual.
Yes, but it's how you connotate it. You believe that is that a negative? Do you give yourself a negative reaction? Just like the pedophilia. Just why do you make some of these?
Here we go. Disney Corporation interprets their gayness into to make your kid gay or whatever. I don't know.
Hunan, don't mind if I use your terminology. The lower voice, the skull, is going to always every day out of the moment is always going to challenge you and check your frequency and your filtering. So now you look at the pedophiles, now you're going to feel miserable. Oh, it's going to lower your frequency. There's nothing you can do about that because these are all programs and it's a script. Remember, it's a narrative. That narrative is to get energy out of you. But if you look at it as
you have to tell a story, though. That's my thing. Everyone has to tell a story.
That's why it's called history. So don't live in nobody else's story.
They have to write their own script, but they still have to tell it in their head or write it down. They have to tell themselves. Okay, so they have to talk to themselves and brainwash themselves into thinking that they're gonna be happy in some way. But people are perceiving happiness as material most of the time. That's
how
the
you
problem.
feel right now? Tia Storm, how do you feel right now? Are you happy?
I'm just
It's a
thinking.
choice.
I don't know. It's
a choice.
I'm not happy,
Right
but
now.
I'm not. I'm neutral
Be
right
happy.
now. I'm
Be
in the
happy.
middle. I'm
happy right now.
choosing to be
Be
happy.
happy. Be happy.
Yes.
Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. It's your choice right now in this moment. Be happy if you want. Even if you
Oh
want to
man,
believe
but
that.
some people love to be miserable. They
Why
like
you
to
keep
be
going
like,
back to other people? remember the Bible says, look not at the cloak in your brother's eye, look at the log in your own eye. Don't look at everybody and what Disney's doing and what they're doing in this program and
yeah.
Armageddon and the Mark of the Beast and the chip. These are all programs that harvest your energy, to harness your energy. These are anchors. Everything is right now. The word to know is now. Now is spelled K-N-O-W. No. Take the K off, you have now. Everything is right in this moment. You are everything, you have all the qualities, all the attributes, everything that you need in this moment. I don't care what situation you're in. Everything is you. And you can look at it as you're chosen. You're chosen to be in this experience this reality. It's the great forgetfulness that comes from you can look at it as a contract, because you can't come in this game and knowing your other timelines unless you raise that frequency. Then you'll see other timelines, which doesn't benefit you in this moment because you got to live out this lifetime line. You know what I'm saying? So
Most
that's what happens.
people just watch a movie to change their emotion. You know how when you watch a scary movie, you're scared. You watch a happy movie, you start laughing, right? A comedy, a mystery, you start thinking. So
And you have
it's
a
like
choice.
the TV can control our emotion. What we have in our environment controls our emotion.
Well,
You
it's
have a
what you
choice.
watch.
You have
It's
a
what you
choice.
watch changes your emotion. So
Yes,
you have
it
the
can.
power to
It-
pick what you want to watch or not watch at all.
All right. Who not? You can watch Freddy Krueger right now and not be scared because you understand voice to skull. So you'll know that the skull or the stream thoughts that's coming in your mind
I
can
used
tell you
to
that,
like,
oh, this is
okay, I used
Yes,
to like
exactly.
scary movies, but I don't anymore because I lost the thrill, right?
well, that's cool
Like
too,
you,
but what I'm trying to but if you watch these movies, they make you feel a certain way. Why continue to what you call it, punish yourself? Like certain
why
things.
put? No, I enjoy
Yes,
it.
yes,
I enjoy all
self-punishment.
the movies. What are you talking about? I enjoy all the movies I watch. It
And
controls
that's
my
good.
emotions.
So if that makes you feel good, that's a positive emotion. That
Yeah,
is
but
not
there's
going.
addiction. We struggle with addictions here. A lot of us drink and smoke and have
So
sex
what?
addiction.
Listen, if those people are doing that, it's all about your perception. If you deem that as
I'm
negative,
letting you know I do. I have addictions. You know, I'm not saying
but
other. I'm accusing myself of it.
who's making you condemn yourself for these addictions, or who's saying it's an addiction? Who, like the voice?
It's
You can
all
look at it as the lower
It's
voice
all
to skull.
self-image. It's all self-projection. It's self.
The lower voice to skull. Listen, the
So
lower voice to
people
skull
like
is
people.
telling you.
All
Lower
people
voice to
care.
skull.
This isn't. No. This isn't. When you don't give a fuck about what other people think, it becomes dangerous.
No, you're not. You. If someone thinks negative about you and you know that it makes you feel a certain way, why would you care about if somebody's thinking negative about you when you know that it's going to make you feel bad? So why would you give them that validation? That's the lower voice to
I don't
skull.
know.
It's telling you, oh, I should listen. You can care about people. That's positive, but listen. They say that the concept of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. So if these people are giving you we already know what to expect about gang stalking and this and that. You've been programmed. The programs are out there for you to entertain them, and then you're gonna have these thought streams. The way you've been wired, or the frequency level you're on, your attitude is gonna make you say, "Oh," because then you're gonna always keep going on the roller coaster of duality. Oh, that is terrible. These people need to go to jail, and guess what? They're never gonna go to jail just because you want them to. And the Matrix is not gonna give you satisfaction with that because it's the Matrix. But you can raise your frequency up and not even watch programs of the news and all that kind of thing like that. You have a choice. So your choice is actually is a reflection of your frequency. So if you choose to keep going down that rabbit hole and as, oh, why people are doing this and people are getting in that and this and that, that's how this reality is made. You have negative and positive.
Hold on a second. I believe that we all have to go through that to be aware of it.
That's how I got there too.
I don't know.
Well, let me say something. Let me say something, guys.
I don't know.
let me say something.
Yeah.
Now, okay, going down the rabbit hole, and I do want a lot of TIs to be able to pull him or herself out of it. But based on my experience, there's also another force out there that needs to be talked about. It's something that's called luck, okay, or something that's beyond our power. We have no control over it. And this force, luck, let's call it luck. I was very fortunate and be lucky enough during the right time in the right moment to experience certain things to help me understand what's going on. Now, like I mentioned before, like your living environment, your work, your how you were raised, like what your resources, what's available to you. Do you have a lot of neighbors? Like all those factors, it's almost like to a lot of TIs out there, it's beyond their control, and not every TI is going to be able to experience what's necessary to actually help their own mind understand the bigger picture and be able to exit this gang stalking. So for those TIs out there, it's just very unfortunate because no matter what kind of information you share with them, well, I don't want to say that. It's harder for them to exit out of it because they don't have the opportunity to experience certain things to understand what we're talking about.
It's their frequency level, and ultimately, most of them are entities to begin with. This game is so, you call it complex. It's simple now once you get the understanding of duality and that you got to meet it in the middle with the neutrality. But ultimately, these people that you're having compassion and sympathy for really is a programming too, because we've been programmed. Naturally, source is, like I said, if it created good and evil, it's neutral. It always was. Like, I mean, it's set up that way. When I was like, this is all like time terminology talk, but that's it all. Like it says, before Abraham, I am, I always am. That's us. We're outside of time. This is something we created to come in to experience, to see who can master their emotions, gain their self-awareness of their soul source connection, and have an experience according to their choices. Like I said, if you have what you call it, that word, suggestion in your mind, suggestion, oh, this is what it is. You go look it up and search for it. You have other entities that suggest it. Oh, it's this. This is what it is. This is that. You have TIs out there telling you, oh, some of it's beyond paranormal. Some of them say, oh, no, it's the deep state. It's this and that. Oh, it's magic. It's witchcraft. These are all these, like, Hunan is on the high plane. When he said, letting you see that, is really in your mind. Ultimately, how you're going to perceive it and interpret it, and how you're going to filter it. And the way you filter it, when you're filtering it, is always, it keeps leading you back to these same scenarios and these same conclusions, and you not experiencing not a positive reaction or a neutral response, and it's negative, and you look at the world as doom and gloom, it's going to keep giving you that manifestation. Over time, once you develop your mind as a muscle, and you realize, okay, and things you can't change, and things, I'm trying to tell you, like the greatest soldiers and everything, they were stoics. Like they just looked at the world, okay, this is what it is, this is the hand I was dealt, and I'm going to play it out according to the choices I made. Now, if I make choices, and I'll tell you, there's never been a positive choice that you ever made that wasn't beneficial for you. Like I made the decision to stop eating slaughtered animals. That was my decision. I see what it did for my reality and my perception. It enhanced it more than it ever did doing anything else. Even with astrology and Christianity, I was part of.
So what you're saying is that we need to make better spiritual choices for ourselves, and I mean, not other people, but ourselves.
Yes, because your choices
people aren't like that. People are. I could do that. I know I could do that. I'll work on it. It's going to take me time to practice the skill.
Don't worry about the people.
Yeah, the other people. I'm just saying. You're saying if I work on myself, then they'll like ascend with me. But I need to focus on me.
They're going to drop off of your timeline too.
So or they'll drop off. Yeah, they'll drop off or they'll ascend or whatever. I don't know.
Yes, you can sit like say you had children, immediate family. They go either drop off out of your reality, or they're gonna send up. They can't be on the same frequency.
Oh man, they dropped. I'm telling you, I've dropped so much shit. That's all I've been doing is dropping shit.
Yes, but ultimately too, our programming, you keep saying the people, like no, it's you. And you're like when you said the
Well,
people
I'm a
that represent
Jesus.
that red card.
I believe that we need to collaborate because Jesus went around throwing tables around, whatever. He was causing mayhem. I believe in that.
10 more minutes, and then I will have to end the stream. Just letting you guys know.
All right, thank you, bro.
But see how I'm relating to Jesus? But Jesus wasn't just sitting there by himself. He had 12 disciples. But I like that story. You're saying that's just a program.
Yes, they're all programs, and it's all about your perception, how you want to look at it as positive, negative. Him turning over the tables, that could be voice to skull, and he got angry, and then he subdued to his
But
lowest self.
nobody uses their imagination enough to create their own timeline.
Imagination is also Magic Nation, like the Magic Nation.
Hollywood. It's Hollywood. The word Hollywood means spiritual warrior, spiritual teacher.
Yeah, well, Hollywood was like a wand. It was like a magic wand.
Yeah, it's a magic wand, and that's what they're doing. They're programming your ass with movies, stories.
What I know is to use your imagination to create your own future. It requires meditation. It requires energy from you. And what I notice is these entities, they're always absorbing our energy, our mental energy every day. So it's a bigger battle we would have to practice on focusing our minds to energy and really sit there for a while and meditate and think kind of vividly of moving forward in your future to project these thoughts out there. And those entities are going to be there trying to make you change your mind, try to distract you as you try to meditate. That's what I learned so far.
And Hanan, you came to the terms of knowing their nature or their program or their makeup. That's what they're designed to do. If you come to that conclusion, knowing they're going to do what they're programmed to do, even if they or if you're not even be able to perceive them because your duality mind is now neutralized, meaning that you don't have no investment on either side. You're not saying, oh, this is good and that is bad, even though there's things that can have good and bad experiences to you. But overall, even a bad experience can be interpreted to you as that's just something that I experienced. And it's not happening right now. Like you've been in pain. We have pain probably throughout a week, a pain of emotional pain or physical pain. If that pain is not throbbing in the moment, what's good is entertaining the pain from the past. Now you're losing yourself focus at that moment. You give your energy over to, and then the voice, the skull, and all that to higher or somebody. Of course, they want to talk to your brain. Once, if you perceive that, oh, they could talk through my skull through a military base, then the military base is going to be manifested as that's your reality or that's your perception of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, then it is real. Now it is real, like Israel, like the word Israel is real.
Let me tell you, there is a vulnerability in this program where these entities, I feel they don't want the TI to know that they're sending the TI thoughts and sending his idea. Basically, if it's hidden, the TI would think those thoughts are his or hers, and they will react to them. So almost like in control. That's what they say mind control is, because these thoughts comes in, the TI would think is his or hers, and they'll end up doing those things. But in reality, it's the entity that's controlling the TI like a video game controller, kind of, just like so it's like the TI, once the TI realized this, that these voices are coming in and it's not his or hers, the entity is really lost a lot of its weapons against the TI. And now that's in one of my videos I said, once you recognize low voice to skull, it's a learning, it's going to take time to learn, but that is a lot more fun. It's a stage of more fun.
This game is fun too.
You're actually opening doors to your consciousness of realizing.
Yep, that's why there's the rock and roll group called The Doors with Jim Morrison. And ultimately too, what you said about of the entities, basically, if you're not aware of the entity thought streams is not you or not, you're basically in this matrix, which is a game on computer. It's like there's no one player now. There's just a computer. Like you're watching the game being played, and you're not even interacting with it because you're basically the computer is on autopilot. We want to call it. So it's like your timeline is being played out what you were supposed to do according to the contract of this life, because you can't even live outside of the contract according to your attitude and your frequency. Like you're already expecting things because of the programs, and you can look at it as like the lower voice to skull, but the entities all around us, the frequencies, the waves, with the EMF waves. You want to look at it that way because I could go on a higher plane of consciousness. I already know that's how the game is set up anyway. It's set up for technology to mirror itself of the ancient world. Back in the day, you went to go see a practitioner or a shaman or somebody that can speak to the entities. Now it's the cell phones and the media. The media is like the medium. A medium is like somebody's in between the worlds that can tap into the spiritual plane or the invisible plane and the physical plane. He's a medium in between. That's what a television is, or even a computer.
And a medium is, if you think about it, like a psychic medium, the one that can talk to spirits, that experience is just the same as a TI receiving voice to skull.
Exactly.
But the difference here, like my video that's about to premiere soon tonight, towards the end, I explain how the difference between the two is just, there's good spirits, there's bad spirits. A good spirit communicating with the person's going to think, oh, it's a psychic medium. It has power to speak to the dead or the spirits. But a bad spirit communicating with a person is going to be gang stalking because now the guy's going to get bullied. He's going to think the government, something's hurting it, spying on him or her. So that's
it is the government. It is governments, but governments on what plane of consciousness you want to perceive it. It is government because these spirits are part. They are in governmental positions. Some, like you said, some are stronger than others, or some suggestion is more powerful than others, or you getting certain choices that you made. Now, according to your frequency plane, you're going to make a choice that can have you have a negative experience or a positive experience according to your perception and how you want to look at it. But yes, like if you go to a psychic and you believe in psychiatry and all that kind of thing, it's going to tell you a narrative and you're going to play it out and manifest it because you consented to it, or your subconscious mind consented to that narrative that they gave you. They said, oh yeah, I knew it. And guess what? When you said voice to skull, they know everything in all our thoughts and they're a medium for these entities. So the voice to skull is telling the person that you're talking to everything that they already know. They know your whole beginning and they don't know your end, but they know your beginning. They do know your end, but they don't know they know that you have many possible ends. You know what I'm saying? You have many potential choices that you can make that'll have outcomes.
Yeah,
so they'll tell you that this is the end. They'll tell you this is your end. This is how you're gonna die. This and that, and that's the outcome you're gonna play out according to the suggestion of the voice to skull in your head. If it's a loud voice or a low voice, like you said.
Well, one of the things that they really like to do on me is like when I go out, to work or whatever, they love to like make me look at the opposite sex, and they like to send me ideas that, oh wow, that person, I could totally go talk to that person and get that person's number, all this stuff. And they'll do this to me every day. But I never think beyond that. But I sense them sending me these thoughts and I just block it. So every day they're still doing this, and every day they're just hoping for that one moment to find a leak in my defense.
Yeah.
And that's how you can eventually let them back in. It's like they're just, for me, it's like they're just lingering around, trying to find for that weakness to get back.
You always can recenter yourself. Every moment, sir, you always can recenter yourself. Say if you did subdue and took that number. Now it's all about that. This voice to skull ain't gonna stop. So say if you took the number and you didn't act on it, or you did act on it. Now it's about how are you gonna condemn yourself? Are you gonna feel shame? Are you gonna feel sin? See how that lowers your emotional body? Now your emotional body is weakening because now you're condemning and you're falling down on your own self, and you don't realize you lost the grasp of this is just all experience anyway. Yes. You can have 1,000 women or no women or whatever, 1,000 dogs. It's like choice. I'm just saying, according to your choices, and if that is from your choices, if that's the result it produces or the outcome that it's going to present. You know what I'm saying? It really, everything is right now. It's in the moment. That's the same thing I've been singing. I was on one of the Brother Young Stills chat maybe 2 months ago, and I'm just using an example. I saying the same thing, like the same because I know what it is. I know how this matrix. I'm on a higher level of consciousness. I know about the duality. Like I said, here's a grasp that I'm gonna mention one more time. The Earth is the third planet. Duality. Gemini is the third zodiac sign: Aries, Taurus, Gemini. 3, 3, 33. 33 is 6. 6, the Saturn matrix. These are all programmers because this is how the matrix works. But the programs of the entities, they're going to use that, mirror that backwards to you, whereas now it's negative. Like these are secret masons and this and that. Yes, they can have their rituals and all that type of stuff if you want to look into that, because it's a rabbit hole. But it's all to gain your perception so you can lose energy and your emotional body and your subconscious and your conscious, because your conscious is what you're aware of at the moment. All that is being depleted. Now you can't even manifest things or have choices because it's how you feel. We react on how we feel. So if you're not feeling up to something, that's why people don't have higher potential choices, because they don't feel good about themselves. So they're going to, according to the streams of consciousness of thoughts, according to their attitude and their frequency. That's why the Christ character said that you can tell a mountain to move with a grain of a mustard seed of belief, because that means that solar plexus, that heart chakra, or whatever you want to call it, these are all programs. See, I'm not good on words, but I can try to express it to the best I can see it better than I can tell you. That hot chakra is because your heart is like the imagination ultimately. Is a magnet. Your heart is the magnet. Your mind is the imagination. You know what I'm saying? So if they're not aligned with each other, you're not going to be able to manifest positive experiences in your reality. And if you're on a low frequency, you're going to think that certain choices is going to make you happy, and they don't. Like certain things, like I'm saying, being rich or this, and I'm just using an example. Yeah, you feel better off, but eventually that'll just be an experience. If you're not looking at it as just an experience, to be on a boat or a yacht and sipping wine with your wife and children, not sipping wine with your children, but sipping wine with your wife, and you look at that as a positive experience, you can manifest that if your magnet, your mind, and your heart is aligned up with that. But if you have a low self-esteem, low emotional morale about yourself, and you're condemning yourself, that's what these Bible programs are all about. It's about sinning and shaming you and making you feel you're unworthy, or I did this yesterday. Now you're in the past. See, the Bible is very what you call it, nuances, and there's also programmers in there to have you take different choices of schools of thought about it and manifest your reality. Because now you're thinking, I'm not going to get in heaven, this and that. The Bible said the kingdom of heaven is within. Why are you worried about heaven, the afterlife, when you are in this experience now to be having your full potential, or your full your full potential of expressing or having an experience having an experience that is more that is aligned up with you, with having an experience that you will I'm losing my, you know how this program works, but
no, I understand. And yeah. Right now you're losing your word is because they're preventing you from having that focus right now.
Yeah, and I don't even look at that as negative. And that's why I love you, brother, because by you being in my timeline, you brought that to my insight, how to even filter that. Like, even if I'm losing my thoughts, I'm not going to condemn myself or even say, oh, but it's just an experience. Yes. Like, I'm not going to judge myself and say, or that's why I was telling the Mrs. T in store, like, you can't keep saying, but the people are not going to get it. And the people, that's that suggestion in your mind too. But even the Christ consciousness was saying that he that have ears, let him hear. He said, it's not given unto them to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but unto you is given. He didn't say everybody. He said you. You're not supposed to be in this reality trying to save everyone, but you resonate with people that can, if people can understand and perceive you, that's the people that you resonate with and can communicate with. But I can communicate with anybody. I can communicate with Hitler. You get what I'm saying? Because we all understand the voice of the skull. So if Hitler want to carry out choices to kill and destroy everybody, he's not going to destroy me. Or these gay stalkers not going to destroy me, because I have a choice and I'm in my self-empowerment. They can do all their tactics they want. If you want to look at it as tactics, see, I can have a perception where I don't have to look at it as tactics. You might look at it as escapism and this and that. These are all programmers to keep reinforcing you back into, I'm in this world and it's bad, or you can look or have it as this world is great. I'm having my best life ever and all that. These are all just experiences. Of course, and that's why I said the Great Reset. That's what it is. I know what the Great Reset is happening more so is because we're there. We are at the threshold of our full empowerment. Meaning when the reset happens, we are going to be all right because we understand the programming. Once you get the duality thing down, you understand that there's always going to be yin and yang, push and pull.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Punch
Yeah.
and slap.
Well,
Punch and slap.
Look, and
Whatever.
I do see a reset coming, but when in the future, I don't know. Because when I see how the world is nowadays, how wasteful people are, and how all the politics, people can't come to agreement. I mean, people are creating problems that when there shouldn't be problems. And it's not going to sustain itself.
They have choice though, and they're entities anyway. So they're just
Yes.
playing their program out. But I'm saying, if you go on a higher plane of consciousness, we are not accountable for no one's actions but our own. Even
Exactly.
you can look at that on a perception with the gay stalking. That's their choice. You choose to violate me, and you think even if a person got justice for gay stalking, they can prove it and get their money. That's their experience. That's what they got. You know what I'm saying? They went through the proper channels and they proved it. And we could make you can make this experience, whereas it manifests itself where these people are prosecuted, so-called, you know what I mean, wherever they are, these entities. If your frequency is high enough, you can manifest retribution and whatever. If that's what they want out of this reality. But I'm telling you that could be a small possibility of ever happening because it's duality matrix anyway. So you're gonna always want to have demons, goblins, and angels. I mean, good angels, or demons and angels, God and the devil. Dick and pussy, you know what I mean? Excuse my French. You know what I'm saying? So you always gonna have these dualities going on. Whatever we got. The east and west, north and south. You know what I'm saying? So
okay, yes, but I have to cut this live stream. But
okay.
The last word I want to say, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, sir.
I learned a lot from you today, and it's good to know that you understand, a lot of the stuff in my videos, and so my work is actually really being appreciated by someone out there.
Yes, sir.
And also, there's a book I know you would find very fascinating. I told the developer about this book, and it's by Napoleon Hill, and it's titled "Outwit the Devil." You can go to YouTube, just type "Outwit the Devil."
Okay.
Napoleon Hill, and you're gonna see an audiobook. Give it 10 minutes, and I know you're gonna really like the information, and you're gonna know exactly what's going on about this conversation of Napoleon Hill and the devil. But this devil is this entity, right? And you will understand that book, and you will like that book, because I 5 minutes into it, I couldn't stop listening to it.
And guess what? If I didn't like the book or didn't like or do like the book, it doesn't even matter. It's just experience.
Yeah, it's a good knowledge. It's like a good information to learn another perspective.
No, I know I will like it, or I sure do appreciate it, because I do like reading through the programs and filtering, because I know that everything that we perceive is nothing but programming anyway. It's just a program. And it's about your attitude, how you look at things. It's an attitude. Will Smith was great at that. Remember Will Smith, like as an actor, he had a beautiful attitude, but you see what he got the voice to skull going on now. But I'm saying, like, he had, like, all through the 90s and 2000s, like, how his attitude was, you know what I mean, getting in shape and doing all that. You have a choice. Like that, he fell into the I'm just using him as an example. He fell into the spiral of now, you know what I'm saying? He loved his wife and all that. He's into the programming. You know, instead, listen, if your wife don't want to be with you, because I was just using that example in the last stream, talking about how my wife is with me, how she changed, because I'm trying to meet other TIs where letting them know where you can be and act like I experienced that too, but it's all about your outlook on the thing. Like, people change and people have choices. Even you call it, when I say entities, I don't even really mean negative. Even the negative entities, they're negative, but I don't have no gripe against a negative entity where I'm going to give them my energy of a negative or anger. Why would I sit around angry at entities and gang stalkers all day? Or or whatever, or this guy did that. No, because it's not if it's not on my front porch or affecting my immediate perception in that moment, you say I'm neutral about it, because I'm not there to witness it. You know what I'm saying? And everybody have their choices in what they're doing. Because you do have justice, so-called justice systems. Remember that? I'm saying, so if these factions ain't working, the entities, like, it's a reset. So that's why it looks like the justice is not working, because of their reset. So it has to keep the plane of consciousness of souls like me and you on a certain level to always have a fear or a doubt about things and worry, because that's the energy that it feeds off of, to keep the you in that frequency plane to carry out that narrative.
Yes,
Carry
and
out that
that's why
narrative.
I always preach no fear, and that's very important for any TI that's still listening. And
Yes.
and I'm sorry to cut this short, Father Jimmy, but I gotta go and listen to the audiobook.
Okay. Out with the devil. Napoleon.
Devil, outwit the devil, and then just give it a couple minutes. Tell me if you like it. You can comment in my video. That's gonna be I got video that's gonna be premiering in about 20 minutes. But let me know what you think of that video too. It's gonna be on electric mist and what I been observing in my experience. So I let me know what your thoughts are. And
and the book is on YouTube. Out with the devil. You're not uploading it, but it's on the YouTube.
I didn't upload it. It's a book. But the story about this book is it was written in the 1930s, but the entity, the devil, was scaring Napoleon about publishing it because it was saying if you publish it, people was going to think of you as some nut job, and people in your career field is not going to like you. So he didn't publish it. So he passed away. His wife got it. His wife gave it to like his one of his relatives, and then the relatives wife or husband got a hold of it and decided to publish it. So it was only recently published less than 10 years ago. But this book was written in 1935. And it's basically in a conversation format of Napoleon Hill interviewing this entity, the devil, and how the devil explained how it controls society in the world. And how it operates through like, a lot of it is voice to skull and manipulating the teachers, the parents, and that's how it gets to the kids, each generation of kids. And it also mentioned how long would it take before it can change this entire world to not be in control of the devil. And the devil answered, it only takes one generation. So all it takes is one generation of proper information to change the kids' mindset of the future. The whole world can change in a positive way, in a different direction. So check it out and let me know what you think.
All right, brother. I already know that I can understand that it's going to be a very heavy book. So at the end of the day, like I just want to leave you with this. Know that is a concept too. The program, like Napoleon, that was part of his voice to skull too. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
He was actually, I believe he was voice to skull communicating with this entity through voice to skull.
Exactly, because they know everything. Like I said, there's nothing private down here. We always been broadcast. So that's why it says it's like I said, you can use the Bible as a reference point. I don't use the Bible to divide and do divisions. I do use the Bible to neutralize situations or use the positivity of it. The negativity, I shine light on it to show you where the lower voice to skull, thanks to you. I show people that, like I said, Abraham sacrificing the sun and everything. It really goes back to the solar equinox, but that's that's another programming too, astrology with the sunset. Yeah, 3 days.
I appreciate your support, and I'm sorry to cut you short, but I did not expect to go this long. So have a good night, sir, and I will talk to you soon. Okay, we'll do this again.
All right, thanks, brother. Peace.
You take care. Well, that is it for today. I do have a video premiering within 10 minutes. If you have time, check it out, please. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. And no fear. Shimon signing out.